Good evening and welcome to the first ever round of the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries powered by FRG. My name's Chris Mitchell, joining you in commentary tonight alongside Dave Roberts. How are you, Dave?
Good, Chris. How are you, mate?
Fantastic. Ready for a big one. We've had so many pre-qualifiers for this heading into this round. 102 pre-qualifying drivers getting ready for the first round of the championship from Winton Motor Raceway, a track you're quite familiar with.
Yeah, I've done a few laps around here. Have you been around here as well, Chris?
No, not quite. My Formula Ford career was quite limited to the west coast of the country, unfortunately.
It really is a good little Formula Ford circuit. Formula Ford's been there for years. They've been going there for, I don't know, as long as Formula Ford have been around. They've been racing at Winton, so probably 50 years. But it's very cold up there.
It is very cold. It's not so cold at the moment in Sim. I think we're sitting at around about 20 degrees for a nice May afternoon. Looking at that, a May morning even, 11:30 just about in the morning, 21 degrees, 24 degrees on track and partly cloudy. That is a beautiful day for the classic Victorian weather. We're sitting about 220 kilometres to the northeast of central Melbourne. We're currently in the throes of the warm-up ahead of the feature race for silver. The gold race coming up very soon, but the heat race we just had, 15 minutes in duration, Dave, was pretty hot.
Yeah, it was a nice clean start. We got a couple of good clean laps at the start, and then chaos ensued for a lap or so, where were a few incidents around the place, and then they all calmed down and had a really good run to the finish. So Damien Cairns took that heat race out, and you'll see him starting from pole in the main event.
So the format is quite different to something we've seen on Racestars TV from the Formula Racing Group FRG of recent times with F3 eSeries and other things like that. We now have a heat race format, as we mentioned, and it's a bump-up grid. So you get to qualify if you want to rewind a couple of days. You've got your pre-qualifying to get into the race. We take the top 40 pre-qualifiers into the gold split, the next 40, so making the top 80 into the silver split. And then when you come into race night, you get to practice, qualify a heat race, and where you finish in the heat race is where you will start for the feature grid. As we start to look at your feature grid now, Damien Cairns with a Taipan Esports entry will start on pole alongside Mick Aarons on the outside front row. From Glenn Cito Riddell, Jackson Austin, Caleb Bellac and Adrian Loretti starting from position number 6, David Gallo from 7, Ross Hansen from position number 8, Thiago Macedo from Western Australia in 9, with Daniel Byrne in 10, and going to a big field, Dave.
Yeah, so Brent Meekus there off 11. Oh, we've jumped already. Darren Fay off 13. And Oliver Armit off 14. Andrew Johnson off 15. Luke Fitt off 16. I've watched Luke come through. He's a pretty quick peddler. Adrian Powell, Greg Bradley, Sam Woodland and Roderick Hollis take us down to the top 20.
Starting from position number 21, Daniel Olemans alongside Vince Misarika on 22, with Jay Harvey from 23rd and Sam Stride starting out of position number 24. Sean Armstrong will go to the P25 from Tony Baker on 26. Tommy Chapman, I believe a West Australian Formula 4 driver, the one that I know at least, John Chapman from 27, alongside Mark Jeffrey on the 28th spot, with Lucas Burt on 29 and Sean Reed from position 30.
Murray Lawrence in his lovely little red and white car is off 31. Lockie Taylor off 32. Bill King. Brad Johnson, another Western Australian. We've got quite a few of them here tonight. And Kurt Bond, Victorian, off 35. Rob McGrath off 36. And then we've got Oliver Patterson, Vermilion Motorsport, off 37. Kyle Booth off 38. Lachlan Capel is the safety car, who's in a bright yellow canoe tonight. There's been a little hiccup with the safety car, so you'll see a bright yellow Formula Ford happening as a safety car. And I think Aaron Russell and Steve Crittenden are scratching this.
All right, we are getting our cars starting to get sorted onto the grid. You can see there Damien Cairns, the pole sitter, getting set for your feature race. A 30-minute duration feature race, trying to get a full grid of Formula Fords around Winton Motor Raceway. There's no stop for fuel. Formula Fords cannot take a fuel stop with no dry brake system. As we get away for a start, down towards the chicane for the first time. Chances of making it through clean, Dave?
Yeah, and Damien Kent's got a lovely jump away there. Got a good clean start into turn one clearly. They have a really good start in the sprint race, so let's hope they do the same on the pitch. We've got one off at the back there, gone straight on to turn one. Oh, we've got one on into the fence there. You come back onto the road, but luckily not in front of everybody, and it's a reasonably clean start. Looks like a real Formula Ford race.
It looked quite legit for a moment there. One car spearing off to the inside. Must have got loose on the exit of the chicane and bounced back into oncoming traffic as Damien Cairns leads the lane for the first time. Heading around that first lane, you can see these cars, how skaty they're getting. Just rocketing over the curb, straight over the top of that camera spot.
Yeah, that one, I jumped out of the way of that one. Cold tyres here, and it's cold weather, and it's Winton. Little lack of grip on that first lap, so I think we'll find that, you know, give them a lap or two, they'll settle down a bit.
Well, it's already looking like Damien Cairns trying to break away over the rest of the field.
We're on the safety car, I think.
Straight away into it. Yeah, we have significantly slowed up there.
Yep. There we are, safety car on the screen. So that's because that car stranded in the middle of the road back there. What FRG do is they look at real world conditions. So if a car's stuck in the middle of the road, they'll call a safety car. If he's well off the track, the safety car won't call it. It's not just a random thing. So there is method in the madness.
So that was on account of that car I think we saw spearing off the racetrack and bouncing off the old pit complex wall coming out of turn number 2, the Motorsport News S's. There seems to be the wall there. Let's check out the Racestars action replay, watching the 30 car just on the back of the 5. That was a RaceKraft car as well. And straight out into front of traffic. Mandela Pluck finds himself a victim of that one. Let's check that again from further back here. Mark Jeffrey getting his wheel grip in the 13 car. Oh, straight into it. Didn't even make an attempt to try and dodge the crash.
Yeah, anyway.
Might have been looking at the a little bit.
Luckily in here, it's a reset button and there's no repairs to be done and nobody's gone to hospital.
And watch this. Bang! Straight into the side. That is unfortunate for Mandela and the car that ended up hitting him as well. I think actually Mandela Pluck caught the right rear of Thiago Macedo in the gold RaceKraft entry. So I'll have to talk to my mate Thiago there, just feeding a right rear on the exit of the first chicane. And that will leave us behind the yellow canoe.
What you'll see is that they've now taken it, they'll have towed back the auto tow back to the pits, and they'll get one free repair, so that car will be repaired completely. Everybody in the race gets one complete repair, but they can't immediately tow in an accident. If they have an accident, they've got to call race control and wait for an approval to tow, which is why they were sitting here for so long.
It'd be typically what you would see under race conditions if the car is blocking the circuit, the FRG rules, and I do absolutely admire that rule set as well. Simulating real-world conditions, you'll see they'll bring out the safety car, neutralise the race. Tonight we get to follow Lockie in the yellow canoe, and I think Lockie's trying to pull away here, so we should be getting ready for a restart.
It looks like it. The lights are out on the safety car, Chris.
The rain light may be at the back. In the Ray Racing Cars Formula Ford 1600 within the iRacing platform. Cairns is going to back the field up here, heading into those final couple of corners. Turn 11 before making their way around turn 12. Past that very awkward pit entry here at Winton. Loves it in a GT3 car. I found myself into that tyre barrier right at the top of the screen a few times before.
Magnetic pit lane.
Yeah, it is. As we go green, we're back underway here for the feature race of silver for the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSports Series. Damien Cairns leading away from Austin into second through the chicane. Watch the curbing on the exit. Nicely pulled up. And the whole field's going to go by.
I'm not quite sure where Jackson Austin got past Mick Aarons, because Mick was in second place. So somewhere on that opening lap, I'm guessing that Mick maybe put a foot wrong on cold tyres and dropped a spot. So we'll see if he can work his way back to the front. Oh, we've got one sideways there again.
That's a 9 car of Brant Johnson just getting caught up. Sandroper Sim Racing. Some lovely liveries in this field. Sandroper parked up in the sand.
You got it.
We're going to wheel out some horrible one-liners this season. I can see it already.
The car 25 there, which is Ross Hansen going really, really well. It's actually my old livery.
Loves it. It's a
long,
good-looking
long
race
ago.
car in the bright red.
Yeah.
From how long ago? Do you want to show your age?
Oh, no, yeah, 80s. That was my 87 car, so there you go.
Was that
That's
your
quite
championship winning season?
No, that was 88.
88. So Dave Roberts joining me in commentary here. You've heard him before on Racestars TV for the Formula 3 Australia Series, former Australian Formula 4 champion. With his livery on the side of Ross Hansen's car as we go back to your leader, Damien Cairns getting away for the first green flag lap after the safety car. Hard on the brakes, down a couple of gears. There's a fair bit of movement from these cars, isn't there, when they get a bit light on the brakes. Here's a move. As we see it there, a 10-second penalty for Tiago Macedo, causing that incident we saw on lap 1. We're seeing Tiago on the right-hand side of this shot now, just trying to work his way back through the field. He's up to 16th as we ride along with Rod Hollis. And we turn around to the Kittens Racing entry. That's a good-looking livery on that car.
Yeah,
and
look,
Rod is getting robbed right now.
You put one little foot wrong, you miss an apex by a foot, and there's two cars up here inside, and we've got one gone round. That was
Oh no!
car 42, which is
You're gonna go find it on the time.
I think it's Tony Baker falling down the leaderboard there. So unfortunately, in his F1 livery on the Formula 4 there, that's a bit of an unfortunate little happening there.
Yeah, that's really rough. Just got it a bit loose heading through that long left-hander turn 5, heading up towards the rollover corner and up towards the back of the track, which has its own nickname. I don't know whether we'll be allowed to repeat that on the screen for Winton, but no. We'll go back to Damien Cairns leading the way. He's got a healthy 6/10 of a second margin.
Oh, someone else on the grass again.
Tiago again.
Now, Chris, in 4th place there is Caleb Black, and Caleb was actually racing at Sydney Motorsport Park on the weekend in his real Formula 4. So there's one of the real-world drivers out there at the moment. He's only very young, just got his Formula 4 and I think that was maybe his first race meeting this weekend. But he did a really, really good job, and he had a couple of wins in class. So that's really cool. And also Sam Woodland there running in 18th. He's obviously had a few issues, but Sam's another real-world Formula 4er.
It's fantastic to see the crossover. We were talking yesterday, watching the pre-qualifying, about a lot of the young go-karters making their step into this series as well. We noted young Oliver Armitt. If it's the same Oliver Armitt that you and I were speaking of, racing in Cadet 9s, oh, we got another off there, and that's going to start to catch a lot of cars up. Oh dear, that's
Tommy
coming out of the
falling down
first of their hairpins there.
That's someone on the list. That will be a safety car, I'll guarantee you.
Yeah,
that's Jay Harvey,
unfortunately
upside
there.
down.
Oh, it is Jay Harvey, sorry, upside down. In the Australian Formula 4 Championship official livery, the green variant. We're expecting a safety car to come with that.
Yep, there we go.
Goes down the straight.
Out.
The safety car is out. So for the second time, we'll fall under safety car here.
Gee, it's more and more like a real-world Formula 4 race all the time. Yeah, so what we were saying yesterday was Oliver Armitt. You were saying that you thought he ran in the go-kart.
Yeah, we were saying that. We'll just check this out here. Jay Harvey heading up into the first of the hairpins, and he catches and tries to spin out of sympathy and then gets caught up on several other cars. And man, oh man, talk about getting caught in someone else's mess. Gets turfed upside down, just trying to avoid the crash cars in front of him.
Here we go, we're on board with Phil King at the moment. You can see it all happening here.
Representative shot, there it is.
I'm trying to drive around the back of him. There we go. Good avoidance by most of the people there.
Yeah, fairly decent driving from most of them running up to the incident. We'll see this again from further back on board with Sean Reed here. From the driver's eye camera, inside the visor, you can see it already. And there's Jay upside down. And then hard on the binders, trying to stop that very quickly. You don't want to be the next person to just pile into the same accident and cause more carnage.
No. So, yeah, a little bit about this Series 2 was that with iRacing bringing the Formula 4 online and as an option, and it's a really, really good model car, really beautiful physics, great thing to drive. Created that opportunity for Formula 4 to extend their engagement with the potential competitors into the real world, into the sim world. And part of that was, we were talking about Phil Marilyn, who runs Formula Ford in Australia, and we were saying that really the grassroots of motorsport is now sim racing. So this is hopefully going to give a few people an opportunity to sort of get involved, race with some of the real world guys, get some association with Formula Ford, and allow them to make an easier progression into Formula Ford, where they know some of the people, they've sort of done some racing with them, even though it's in the sim world, and hopefully integrate another level of introduction to motorsport for Australia.
You're absolutely right there. It's a great opportunity to create something really cool on a national level with Australian Formula Ford jumping on board to put this series together. This is the official esports series of the Australian Formula Ford Championship, and a great representation of what we can do in sim racing to bring people in. And it's great to have a mix because we've got sim racers, we've got real world Formula Ford drivers, we've got a former Australian champion even announcing the series, along with a lot of young go-karters. We were talking earlier about Oliver Ahmed, races in Cadet 9, the youngest category of Australian karting in the Australian Kart Championship. And I think if it's the same Oliver, he'll be gearing up to head to Newcastle in a couple of days' time, because the third round of the Australian Kart Championship heads to New South Wales after they finished their second round here in Perth a few weeks ago. I've got a lot of friends heading over there who've been over there for the shakedown recently, and they're trying to pursue that next step, looking for what they can step into in a year or 2 or 5 years' time to move up from karts to car racing.
I see him there in his Jack Doohan helmet, so must be a bit of a Jack fan. So Jack was a great karter in himself, still does a lot of karting.
And Jack was the first Australian driver to win at a European Kart Championship round event.
Wow.
Blazing the way for a lot of Australians who are looking to follow in his footsteps, and we've got a lot of young drivers making the trip over to Europe now. So we're going to continue behind the yellow safety canoe right now.
So now what's happening there on the left-hand side of the screen, right-hand side of the road, is the lap cars now get a wave by. So they're a lap down, they'll get a wave by and be allowed to come around onto the back of the field. So, if they've had an incident, if something's happened, they're not completely out of the race, lapping around 2 laps down or whatever. They get an opportunity to unlap themselves, get back in the field and have a bit of get some competition out of it.
Well, this is one of the things I've admired from racing in a couple of the last FRG series through the F3A series, is we actually get to go on board with Damien Cairns. That's cool. We get his
where's the Shaka
in-sim
tonight?
camera.
I'm missing it. He usually gives us a wave, so I'll be disappointed if we don't get one tonight.
Oh, no. Don't leave us hanging there, Damien. There we go. There's the Shakas. Damien Cairns on screen from
we've really got
Esports.
Got to get rid of that taxi cab on his billboard there and get an open wheeler up there, eh?
Yeah, get a Formula Ford up there. He's your current leader at the moment in this silver feature race. One of the things I was saying, one of the things I really do admire about the FRG series is they do offer the opportunity to have these wave rounds. So if you get caught up in something that you may feel wasn't your fault, you don't feel too hard done by, because you get an opportunity to stay in the race. Now, that doesn't necessarily create real world conditions, but it keeps everybody involved. And when you've got a field of almost 40 cars on the racetrack, it's actually really easy to get caught up in someone else's mischief, and then it can really leave a sour taste in your mouth for the night. So it's great to have that opportunity to get back involved. You don't necessarily get the opportunity to go back to the front, but a great chance to just stay in the hunt, stay with the field, and it gives everyone having a good time.
So we got Brad Johnson on screen now, I think. And we're going back to green at the end of this lap too, by the way.
So Brad with the thumbs up. Good job there from Brad. Sandgroper Sim Racing on board. Brad currently in 27th place. Yes, we did see Brad caught up in the dirt on the exit of turn number 3 a little bit earlier on in the race. As we're coming up to almost halfway through this race already, we've only completed 8 laps on the board with a couple of safety car interruptions. Lockie Capel.
Hopefully we'll get a nice clean run from here, Chris.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Before we get to the gold server coming up very shortly, we'll be broadcasting the sprint race and the feature for the gold server coming up here on Racestars TV for the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries, powered by FRG, the official Australian Formula Ford Championship eSports series.
We're
As Damien Cairns
Jackson
brings it
Austin
out.
right on him. He's not going to let him get away this time.
No, not as bad as it was last time as we go green coming onto the main straight. And
He's got a
Austin
good
is
run.
right there.
A little bit of a gap back to Mick Aarons. Mick sort of let it go. He's having a dive down the inside into turn one.
Ooh, that's opportunistic. Cairns is going to
There's a
swap
bit.
around.
And the winner out of this is going to be Mick Aarons if he's close. I think Mick's going to go right up the inside and maybe even take the lead.
Three wide.
Oh.
And Caleb Bellac fires it up the inside. Now they touched wheels and Damien Cairns got out of shape. Good thing these Formula Fords are fairly robust as now Aarons looks to the inside heading into turn number 5, but backs on out of it. Damien Cairns is going to survive this exchange, and Austin's actually the big loser out of that, despite being the instigator down at the chicane. He's lost 3 spots. He's falling back to P5.
That was a fantastic first corner. That was just superb. 3 abreast in there, and a little bit of touching. The good thing with this Formula Ford is that they've really worked on the collision.
Oh no! Damien
Cairns
facing the wrong direction at the 3rd hairpin at the back of the track, and he is parked up, just watching the entire field go by. He's hoping right now they don't clean him up, but he can't move. He's pinned up against the racetrack. Now he gets to go. Where does he end up? He's going to resume outside the top 30 in your silver split. That is a huge loss.
Now, Caleb Belac's made a really good jump of this. He's grabbed the lead. He's made a bit of a jump, although squabbling behind, and he's trying to run away with it.
He certainly is. He's already broken out that 0.6 of a second margin over Mick Aarons back there in second. Let's check out the action replay. Watch this. This is out of the 2nd hairpin. Damien Cairns on screen, the Taipan Esports Blacktown Mazda entry. He turns in. He looked like he lost it by himself.
Yeah.
Either that or a massive netcode issue through the hairpin. But that looked like just a big lose.
It's very easy to lose the back end of this car. If you're going a little bit too deep, a little bit of rear brake on, and round she'll go. So it was just unfortunate, just a little mistake under pressure.
That's a huge loss for Damien Cairns as we catch the 3 Kittens Racing entries. Line astern heading up into the first of the hairpins.
Kitten Club.
The Kitten Club, it is. Adrian Loretti, Daniel Byrne and David Gallo. 5, 6 and 7 on the road right now. Brent Meekers the next behind in position number 8. With Fahy and Ross Hansen rounding out your top 10. On board with Loretti. He's even got his own order and the pedal cam as well for Adrian Loretti. How nice is that?
I'm loving the 3 kittens together, though. That's just sensational, isn't it?
It's fantastic to have them together. There's a better look at it. You can see his pedal cam. He's going old school. He's in the motion rig, and he's got the. He needs a pair of race boots. Though. He's got the Acertec there. We need to get him in a pair of race boots. But he's doing it old school. He's blipping the clutch on the shift. An old school dog transmission, the Hewland LD200 transmission in these cars. With a dog engagement, there's no synchro, there's no auto blip, although you could probably get away with utilising it within iRacing. Loretti going old school with the heel and toe function even.
Yeah, so back at the front there, it's half a second it looks like Caleb Belac's got over Mick Aarons. Half a second, not much, is it?
Not much at all. I'm actually just watching that timing interval at the moment. As there we go. 3 into 1 doesn't work, does it?
Watch it, boys. Come on. See, now that was more like a real Formula Ford. A little bit of a wheel up, a little bit of a elbow and a hip and a shove and back on the road.
Bashing wheel nuts and just feed it back onto the racetrack. Here's the gap back at the front now. Mick Aarons has mounted the charge. He had that gap down to almost 0.3 of a second. Aarons put in the pressure on Caleb Bellac out front. Glenn Cito Riddell back there in the 3rd spot right now. These 3 cars within 0.8 of a second at the pointy end of the field. With a little over 10 minutes left in this service session for the feature race for the silver split. Riddell's right there as well. He's right in the mix for these 3 as they're trying to battle out for those top 3 spots.
In pre-qualifying, only just over a second covered the whole 40 cars.
Wow.
So nobody's going to run away out there.
It's going to be super close. Look at the way that Caleb is moving the car around as he feeds it through the chicane. And up the hill. It's a very late braking manoeuvre, and the apex doesn't really appear till quite late into the corner into this first of the right-handers. It's almost flat. Were you able to get it flat through there, Dave? It's almost flat.
Not in this car, but in the real car, It depends. You can't really get just a little bit of a feather of a lift, but in this car you need to do more of a lift.
Oh, Aaron's going for a big look up the inside there. He's playing peekaboo in the mirrors for Caleb Bellac as they head through the hairpins. You know, he doesn't want to get too punchy on this because Riddell is right behind in third as well. This long right-hand hairpin just trying to get the exit right. The swivel around. There you can see third of Glenn Riddell further behind.
This is a problem.
He'd be the opportunistic one right now.
If he has a go, the trouble is if he has a go and he loses momentum, he can drop straight. He'll drop straight back, and Riddell will be straight past him. So he's caught in this catch-22. I want to really pass the guy in front, but to do so, unless it's successful, you'll probably go backwards.
So much so even the momentum in these cars, especially on a small circuit like Winton, could even send him back into the pack further behind, fighting over fourth and fifth as Caleb on the defensive down into the chicane. This will slow them all up now, and Riddell's going to benefit the most of this, driving up onto the rear bar of Mick Aarons for second, who just fakes out a bit of a defensive into the right-handers.
And in fourth place there, head down, trying everything to catch them, is our original Jackson Austin.
A couple more caught up there as well. Mandela Pluck caught up in another incident coming out of the chicane there. Mandela was the driver we found spearing into the barrier on the opening lap that brought out the first of the safety cars. Brant Johnson caught up as well through the right hand down in 26. Oh man, those Sandgropers. Is losing out here.
Caleb's got a little bit, just a half a car extra again now, and a little bit of a breakaway. And you can see that fourth car. He's trying everything to get back into what he believes is rightfully his, which is a place on the podium.
Well, no one wants to be fourth on any given day of the week. Jackson Austin pushing very hard here. He last lap by was a 1:24.9, which was his best of the race. And the JTIT entry, the 41 coming on the main straight now. We're a little under 7.5 minutes to go in this silver feature race for the Formula Fords, and we'll check the lap time this time across the line. 25.01. Caleb Bellac was actually the quickest of the top five that time by. The 24.8 trying to break away here. You can see how much curb Austin is using through the chicane, pushing everything he's got to try and catch this top three.
The kitten club's getting cozy. Caleb, of course, as I was saying, he's come off a couple of wins at Sydney Motorsport Park, and he's real Formula Ford on the weekend. So I think he's shown a bit of class here with a little bit of real-world experience, a little bit of racing experience. That's where he was able to take advantage and come from like that fourth place when they had the little squabble in front. And he's taken advantage of it and grabbed the lead. And that's that real-world racing experience. And that's what guys are going to learn out here racing in this Formula Ford series, is racing with real class competitors. You learn so much.
And seat time of any form can be so invaluable to a young driver trying to forge their career, as we watch on board with Adrian Loretti from his webcam provided in the Discord server. If any of the drivers in our series want to get involved, and they can just get up in the team rooms or get up in the webcam rooms, and they can do just this. If you're sharing your webcam, there's a high chance we're going to put it on the stream, and you're going to get yourself and your team a bit more airtime, as Brent Mikas trying to fight around the outside outer Angel sphere to tread. It's not going to work out there. He's going to slot back in for position number 8.
They've all settled down. They seem to have taken a moment of calm. So Caleb's still trying to break away here, but Mick's not letting him go.
So remind me here, Dave, is the series, if you win in silver or podium in silver, you get an entry into gold for the following round? Is that still relevant?
We haven't done this time because it's just the momentous entry. We're actually got just under 200 entries. Right. So now 110 odd, or 106 I think, turned up for pre-qualifying. So but just under 200 people actually registered for the event. So it's a pretty big management job to do that. And we thought, we'll just keep it simple this time for now.
Yeah, for sure. So Caleb Bellac, he was 50th in pre-qualifying. He missed the gold split by 0.23 of a second. to make the top 40 and head into the gold split. Nothing puts a statement on trying to prove the point that you maybe should have been in the gold split than winning in the silver race. He's out front right now by about half a second. The fight's still going on pretty strong here for the remaining placings inside the top 10.
Yeah, Cable was probably handicapped a little bit with the lack of track time in SimWorld because he was racing a real car on the weekend. So I know that, and he also is at school. He's only, I think he's 15 years old. So, I mean, he's a extremely young punter. So, yeah, great to see him out there in front.
He's doing a great job of it at the moment. 0.4 of a second the margin over Mick Aarons, who's just not giving up on this chase. Glenn Riddell has fallen off the back of this battle for the front of the race right now. Back there in third with Jackson Austin still further behind in fourth. He hasn't really been able to close a gap despite pushing so hard. I'd have to say probably a mistake or two. His last lap was a 125.5 for Jackson Austin in fourth. From Daniel Byrne in P5, Adrian Loretti holding on to sixth. We've seen him a couple of times on stream. David Gallo in seventh. Brent Meekers in eighth from Ross Hansen and Darren Fahy rounding out your top 10. The youngster Oliver Armitz, we spoke about earlier, Dave, he's up 3 spots. He's up to 11th in this race.
Yeah, that's a great job. Really, really great job. So race control have just given everybody what they call a blanket approval of tow. So if there's any incident now, there will be no safety car. So from now on, if you have an accident, you can just tow straight the fix without race control approval.
A great initiative to give everyone the idea of what's going on. Some great work by race control behind the scenes to run everything for these events as well, but they do a fantastic job of managing the races and doing their best to keep some egos rather cool sometimes when tempers do start to flare. Let's face it, the red mist does descend as soon as those cars hit the racetrack. Look at this battle for the lead though, Dave. That is starting to really hot up. Mick Aarons still fighting his way forward.
Yeah, some definite pressure being put on. So what Mick's trying to do is now just carry him, just be all over the back of him and try and make him think about him instead of the road ahead and force that little mistake.
You can see in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, this is the view that Race Control is giving us right now. So Luke, our producer in the background, has just quickly dived into the race control room and actually giving us another view of what they see while monitoring the race. There's a fair bit going on there as well. They've got camera choices, live timing on the left-hand side, a main feed. They're reviewing incidents with another steward at the moment, looking at any of the other incidents that are going on further back in the pack around the track. Plus, the live track map just managing a casual 40 race cars.
Yeah, so that bottom right-hand corner, they were reviewing 3 cars there. There must have been an incident. And if there is an incident, any driver can call out and say, car 25, turn 3, lap 7. And then race control will log that down as an incident, and then I'll go back and review it live. And if there's time to give a penalty, they'll give a penalty if warranted. If not, there'll be a post-race penalty. Yeah, good move down the inside by the Kitten Club.
Austin's fighting back though. He tried to hold him out.
But they've given each other racing room. And it's lovely to see. That's the sort of standard of racing we want here.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. Is that moves Daniel Byrne up to 4th now. Not really a chance of catching the top 3. There's a margin of 4 seconds between them. Mick Aarons, though, has fallen out of 2nd. Glenn Riddell has actually moved himself up the road and grabs 2nd here. So Aarons loses a spot, and that has released Caleb Bellac, who's just drawn a 24.5. Glenn Riddell's gone a 24.3. So Glenn actually coming on very strong in the late stages of the race, but there's only about a minute or so to go here.
Yeah, I think Glenn has got the pace. He's certainly got the pace. And, mate, the car looks fast. What a beautiful livery on that car. But he's certainly got the pace. But I think he's just run a little bit late. He was boxed up there behind Mick Aarons. Now he's got through, but I've got a feeling Caleb's escaped here. He's off.
He's well and truly bolted. There's the white flag. 1 lap to run here around Winton Motor Raceway for Caleb Bellac, who started just inside the top 5 for this feature race. There's a battle still on for 2nd. Riddell under pressure here as Mick Aarons had a little peekaboo up the inside heading to the chicane. The pressure's on because there's only this final lap to try and get something done for 2nd.
Now, Mick's going to try everything here to get his 2nd place back. He's not happy having lost that at all. And Well, what update on young Armit? He's in the top 10. That's an awesome job. So we've got a lot of go-karters out here. It's great to see one that young getting himself in the top 10. That's fabulous to see. And we'll watch his progression through the series. He'll be certainly a man to watch during the course of the series, and see how he matures and how much quicker he can get during the course of the event.
Very excited to watch all that unfold. Oliver Armit up 4 spots to position number 10 as we watch this battle for second, with only a couple of corners left to go around the almost 3 kilometres. That is Winton Motor Raceway. Caleb Bellac, though, a very classy drive here. He forced the issue for the race lead a little bit earlier on, fought his way to the front as he comes around the final 2 right-handers and hits the main straight. The first winner in the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries, Caleb Bellac, takes the silver feature.
Now he looks a bit happy about that, weaving his way down to the finish line. And Riddell's taken second with Mick Aaron's third, only 0.14 between them.
That's a very solid result there. Great racing inside the top 3. Daniel Byrne comes home for 4th, with Jackson Austin in 5th. Adrian Loretti P6, David Gallo P7, Brent Mekas in the 8 from Darren Fahey, and young Oliver Armit makes a top 10 run in the silver feature race here. The youngster on screen now, a great drive for young Oliver, up, 4 spots from his starting position. Harry Lawrence, though, how's that? Up 19 positions. That is a big move in a 30-minute feature.
Brilliant drive. That's what staying out of trouble. Staying out of trouble and taking your opportunities when they arise.
Fantastic move there for Harry Lawrence, the Race Factory. Number 199 entry. That is a big move. There was a 20-position move for Oliver Patterson down in 17th, moving up the order as well. And a 20-position loss for Damien Cairns, who ends up 21st after taking the win in the sprint and starting on the pole. That costly spin, he's going to be kicking himself over that.
There's basically double points on offer from the feature over the sprint race, effectively. So he'll still plug some good points for that win in the sprint.
And at least pick himself up a finishing record here in the 30-minute feature as well. A great race. There's your full results. Looking at the top 18, Caleb Bellac taking the win by just under 2 seconds over Glenn Riddell in second. Nick Aarons fought hard to try and get that back for third. Daniel Byrne in 4th from Jackson Austin in P5. And Adrian Loretti from the Kittens Racing entry in P6 over David Gallo, Brent Mekas and Darren Fahey. Young Oliver Armit rounds out your top 10.
Now what we'll do is we're going to take a little break, and we're going to swap servers in a minute after. Are we doing post-race interviews? I'm not sure.
I do believe we might be doing post-race interviews, so we'll see with that. And we might see if we do get a few of our drivers.
Yeah, and then we'll have to do a little server swap, so that you will see a little bit of a break. If you're thinking about a cup of tea, just hold on for 5 minutes. We've also got Vicky Harrington, who's the series coordinator or series manager for Formula Ford Australia. He's here, and he's going to pop his nose in for a little chat in a minute as well. So that might be a good thing to do.
I'll let you take that away with Icky. If you can operate to bring him into the broadcast room.
Oh, we might do your interviews first, I think, Chris.
Recently.
Okay, we've got Caleb with us now live. Well done, Caleb. Great win.
And figures and things, but I'm actually convinced that it's going to turn, because a lot of manufacturers said 2026, 20 whatever.
So, we're
All right. All right. Well, Icky Harrington was having a chat there about internal combustion engines. We'll jump in and we'll start with your top three very quickly. We'll start with your winner, Caleb Bellac. Caleb, congratulations, mate. A great drive, forcing the issue quite hard there. You had to get a move on to get that win.
Yeah, it was a good race between all of us. Definitely, like you said, had to force that move, and once I did that, managed to break away, which was my winning key.
Were you concerned at all when the guys were chasing you further behind, trying to put any pressure on, or did you just settle into a cruise control rhythm to grab that win?
Oh, well, you're always concerned because you never know if someone's doing saving tyres, but I had my pace, I was comfortable with it. I knew I couldn't go any faster, so like you said, settled into my cruise control, just stayed at my pace. If they want to go faster, we'll have a battle.
Congratulations, mate. Is there anyone you want to thank? You've been making some moves lately with your real-world career as well?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Pioneer DJ for getting on board and sponsoring me, which is awesome to have them.
Great stuff, mate. Congratulations once again, taking the win in the silver feature.
Thank you.
Dave, I reckon I'll hand over second place. Glenn Riddell for you.
Okay, Glenn. Well done, mate. That was a good, strong finish. You nabbed the second place there in the last couple of laps. And unfortunately, it looked like Caleb had just got up the road just away from you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, no, it was a good race. Good, clean racing all night, actually, up the front. Yeah, I just sort of was a bit conservative early on, and I think the first restart I sort of probably dropped a position. And then it was just the second restart, just had to survive it. And after that, I was sort of just pacing myself, but I made a mistake and let the two leaders get away, and then had to chase pretty hard to catch them. So I think at the end, the tyres were a bit cooked, but I'm happy with the second place.
Mate, second place in the feature on the opening night, that's a good start to the season.
Yeah, I'll take that, mate. It's better than having all the wheels flying off, so it's a good night.
And Mick Aarons, third place, mate. You had every spot on the podium covered, I think, during the night at some stage.
Yeah, at the end, I just ran out of talent, as usual for me.
Mate.
At least he's honest.
There's a lot of people behind you. Yeah, to finish on the podium in silver when you've got well over 100 people qualifying. It's a pretty good effort in my book.
Cheers. It was good fun. Thanks to the guys for putting it on. I used to really enjoy doing this with the F3, so it's good there's something else to do as well.
And so how'd you find the Formula Ford in comparison to the F3 over the course of the race?
I think I like the Formula Ford better than the Formula 3. I like it because you can slide it around and it just feels more like a car, you know what I mean? But
yep.
Yeah, and especially Winton, I've driven Winton quite a lot, so it's good to be able to do it on the game as well.
Awesome. All right, well,
congratulations again, Mick, for third place. I think we might actually get Icky back in now.
Right.
And I'll leave him with you, Dave.
Okay. Bringing him in right now. Icky, Dave Roberts here, mate.
They're actually working.
Are you there, mate? Hello.
I'm sorry, but watching the E-form is...
Hello.
Yeah.
Icky Harrington, you there, buddy?
I suppose I need to sit out.
Yeah, I don't think Icky's having a conversation with us in this one. Our apologies there with Icky Harrington. We will try and get a chat with him throughout the night. Thank you again to Caleb, Glenn, and Mick, and congratulations being your top three for this silver feature race. Dave, it looks like we're kicking straight in. We've changed over service now. We're into the gold section.
Yes, we are. This is the top 40 out of 100 and something qualifiers. This is the top 40. They were separated by just under a second for 40 cars, so that's very, very close. And one person out of the 40 managed to dip their toe into the 122s, which was Damon Woods, I think, I'm not sure. No, it was.
I'm looking at our pre-qualifying result here. It was super close.
It is.
Showing Andrew Gilliam.
Andrew Gilliam, the only person who managed to get a 52 lap in. So that's pretty impressive.
That's very quick indeed. Super close as well. The margin that was deciding for the likes of Callan Arthur, who was 40th in pre-qualifying. He only managed to squeak in by 0.018 of a second. 0.018. the margin that decided whether Callan was going to be 40th and in the gold, or 41st, which ended up actually being Damien Cairns, who we just saw in the silver race, going into the silver split as well. So some super tight margins when you're sitting on the bubble there, as what we expect when we put over 106 drivers, 106 was it, into your pre-qualifying.
106 pre-qualifiers. So out here tonight, we've got a couple of guys from Real World. We've got Mitch Martin, who runs a Spectrum from New South Wales. You'll find Cameron McLeod, I think, is out there or is he? I'm not sure whether he's with us tonight. Kobe Williams is out there. Kobe's another national Formula Ford racer who's on screen at the moment. He's always in a green car. So you can always pick Kobe. We have Will Owing out there somewhere. Now, Will's currently running a historic Formula Ford and very, very quick. And he was off in the UK, did the Formula Ford Festival and the Walter Hay Trophy last year. So Will's really starting to make his mark on Formula Ford. Eddie Beswick, who's a real front runner for National Series Formula Ford. Eddie's a hard charger and he's done quite a lot of racing with us in F3A, and Eddie's been a real class act. You don't see him necessarily at the front in qualifying, but you watch the race and suddenly go, where did this bloke come from? He's always got good race pace, so I'm excited.
Eddie was one of the ones that I was dead keen watching when I first got involved with running the F3A season with Formula Racing Group. So keen to see how he goes in a Formula Ford. I'm going to give it one last try here because I've been told that Icky Harrington is ready for us once again. Icky, welcome to the broadcast stream. You're with Dave Roberts and Chris Mitchell.
G'day, how you going?
We got him this time. How you doing, Icky?
Yeah, sorry, a bit of confusion about how this all works there. Sorry about that.
Well, mate, it's it's interesting now. We've got another sort of area that Formula Ford are involved in. So we've got each state championships, national championship, and now we've got an eSeries. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I'm hoping to see a lot of these young guys maybe, consider a move from karting or whatever they're doing at the moment, or even just sim racing, and say, gee, I'd really like to get my thumb on a real one of these. Yeah, no,
I mean, we'll do what we can to promote the category in any way that we can, I guess. And it's a grassroots entry level into motorsport. We've got to look at these avenues, don't we? You know, there are sim racers out there who possibly have the potential to come and join the real ranks, and then who knows where they go. So, yeah, open to it all.
And we've got a few real world races out there, so that are running,
yep.
And they're obviously, it's another area where they can promote themselves and their sponsors and the guys involved in their cars, and there's a bit of work there. They can maybe work their teams and sort of discussing the way to drive the car and learn something that they can maybe take to the real world as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new area for me. I've got no experience myself in sim racing, so I don't know exactly what they can take from the experience and transfer it into the real world. Other than, I mean, obviously, if you've never been to a track before and you can jump on a sim and cut laps, that gives you an idea of where the corners go and where the braking points are and gears and things like that. So I guess that's an advantage prior to getting to a track. I know a lot of them do a heap of laps on sims, so they obviously find value in it.
So Icky, what's your actual role with Formula Ford? You're the category manager for the series, or how does it work? What role do you play?
Category manager for the Australian Formula Ford series, so just the national championship. So I guess I'm the go-to person at events, and quite a lot of behind-the-scenes planning, and I work with the association and the Formula Ford administrator to, we put together the calendars, work with promoters and all that side of it, that back-end side of it, and then I'm the person at the actual events which oversees everything, so I make sure the competitors know what they've got to do, where they've got to be, their paperwork and everything like that involved. I have a media person where I make sure that he knows what he's got to do, and is putting posts and things out there and communicating with the right people, and also
we saw in Tasmania the other day, there was some really, really good interaction between the V8 supercar guys. A lot, because so much of the grid of V8 supercars have come from Formula Ford. Just about everyone out there started in Formula Ford, or at least spent some time in Formula Ford. So it was great to see that interaction, and I know DJR are one of the series sponsors, and they offer a drive to the winner of the Formula Ford series or a test day. In the V8 supercar. There's some great initiatives, and we're hoping that maybe in the future we can grow something like that here, where we can maybe get something into a Formula Ford at the end of the season. So, if there's anyone out there, teams out there watching who are interested, I think that out here could probably be one of our next little champions.
Yeah, I mean, that's my role is, I try and do all those extra bits whenever at a premium event like supercar events, and it's, I mean, the proof is in the history. You look at Formula Ford over the years. It's 52 plus years that we've been competing in Australia, and look at how many competitors that have gone through to supercars, how many champions that have gone into and are now champions in supercars, and gone on to international status, and we showcased that in Symmons Plains, where the supercar drivers came into our paddock, and interviews with them and that sort of thing. I looked around the paddock, and it's kudos to the category, that the respect that the category has, that these guys, it doesn't take much of an invitation to get these past competitors to come down and be a part of it, and because of their recognition of how important the category is. So we might get a few of those guys in here. I think Nick Percat he'd be hot to jump in a seat. I know Nick's out here in iRacing all the time, so we might chase a few of those boys up and see if they want to come and have a few laps, come and do a round. Absolutely, yeah. I reckon that's a great idea.
There's a little job for you, Icky. Go and find some of the, and not just some of the current Formula Ford guys, but you've got people like Nick Percat, who's on all the time. Shane Van Gisbergen's out here all the time, and he's driven Formula Fords. A couple of those guys that want to come along, just let us know that we'll give them a free ride into the event. So.
And that's so cool for the young guys, and sim racers, like these. I guess it opens up a whole new world, doesn't it? People that potentially don't have the opportunity to ever get into a real car, then they can be racing online with real life champions, and the guys that they're watching, their heroes on TV, that are, they look up
heroes. Seeing Kobe Williams at the top of qualifying here at the moment. So Kobe's one of the top runners of the National Formula Ford Series, and Kobe's sitting number one. Mark Lowing, which is Will Lowing, using Dad's account, I think. But he's sitting number two. And Cody Deeth in third. Now, there's an interesting guy. Cody is a 10,000 iRating, which puts him in the absolute elite level of iRacing as far as ability, and he's only 15 years of age. I think he's the world's youngest ever 10,000 iRating. So, and he's an Australian, so there's a really, really good young guy. But we're seeing some class at the top there, because we're seeing some real world guys. That's great to see.
That's interesting. You give me a perspective on it there, because that. How did you rate that in iRacing?
Well, in iRacing, every time you do an event, based on your starting finishing position, you get a couple of points, and so they give you an I rating. And your I rating, you gain I rating as you have good results and lots more races. So to get a 10,000 I rating is unheard of. I mean, there's only probably less than a handful in Australia. If you've probably got 3 or 4 guys in that sort of level from Australia, and we've got one of them out here running a Formula Ford, and he's a young guy, 15 years old. I think that's just brilliant. That shows you a future star tomorrow. I'd love to see him in a real Formula Ford, see what he can do.
And the cool thing about that is that he's that's up against a real benchmark, like in real life. Kobe Williams, he's quick. He's proved himself over this season. He's not had great results. He's had some really tough luck and things like that, but he's proven to be quick.
Eddie Beswick's just got number 2 now too. So there we
you
go.
There's no doubting Eddie is very quick. There's no doubt about that as well. So, yeah, that's super cool to see. And your man there, he's 15 years old, you said?
Yeah, so that's I think he's 15 years old is Cody Deeth. And of course we've got another one out there who's super quick from the real world, which is, and I've 2 seconds, I will tell you, Damon Woods, who's a Victorian Formula 4 guy racing at the weekend at Phillip Island. Damon's another guy. He's almost a 10,000 I rating, so again, absolute world-class sim racer.
Yeah, right. There you go. This is a whole new world for me, mate. Pardon my ignorance.
But that's the thing is, I think Formula Ford is a great stepping stone for these guys, and the whole idea of this is to try and embrace a little bit of that and show that we understand sim racing and we can bring the two together and everyone can benefit, hopefully.
Yeah.
So you'll see also during the night all your series sponsors, Yokohama, Racer Industries, Castrol, DJR, are all featured on screen there. So that's they're all the sponsors of the Real World Series who have contributed to the running of this for tonight, for the season. So thank you to them all, and Icky, thank you.
Yeah, well, stay in touch. I will see what I can do about getting some supercar drivers involved in the future.
What a great idea.
Yeah,
I'm taking
all
that
good.
as a yes, it's happening.
Yeah.
Gonna take it and run with it here.
Yeah, keep pushing me.
Thank you so much, Alan Harrington.
We can do that.
Much appreciated, mate. Thank you for coming on board.
No worries.
Cheers, Iggy.
All the best with it, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
That was Icky Harrington from the Australian Formula 4 Championship joining us. While we get through the first half of this qualifying here, Dave, Andrew Gilliam has gone to the top. He's just gone up over the top of Kobe Williams, who was holding that top spot for a while. 1:23.58. That is a very hot time. Almost 1/10 of a second clear of second. Kobe Williams in the number 2 spot right now. Andre Youssef into third with Eddie Beswick and Cody Deeth 4th and 5th in your qualifying order so far. So watch on at the moment. As who are we watching here? The 56 entry.
Which is, it's that Damon Woods. Now, Damon's not set a time, and Damon is, he is one of the absolute front runners in this, so I'm expecting him to go right to the top of the charts any moment.
Well, there he goes. He goes up to 15th with that one, a 1:24.12 with that time. So that puts him in the front half of the field for your gold split. At the moment, the slowest time that's been set is a 1:26.2, but that's going to start to fall as well. Good to see a few of the repeat offenders. I say that, it almost sounds like it's a bad thing. There's a few hot names that have come through from other FRG series and championships that have been raced in recent time. Benny Roberts currently 10th in order. Good to see Stuart Vaughan in this one as well. Damon Woods now 15th. Andrew Dyson in the field. Ty Blackburn running around as well as we watch Benny Roberts at the moment on screen. Just coming out of the left-hander, heading towards those final couple of corners. He's 10th with just barely a 1:23. He's looking to see if he can shave a couple of tenths off that, and that would rocket him. If he took a 10th off that right now, he would go to 7th. That's how close it is in the top 10 right now. Benny runs it down to the line. That time by much better for Benny Roberts. So he goes up to 5th now with a 1:23.82 in the simrigs.com number 73 entry. Good run there for Benny. The I think still reigning F3A series champion with the Formula 3s.
No, Jack Mara is actually reigning champion. He's sitting in 19th at the moment.
I missed the season.
But no, Benny was very, very competitive, but he had to miss a couple of rounds in the middle of the season, and like you only need to miss one and it's all over.
Yeah,
those guys battle it out towards the end. But Jack Mara is the current reigning Formula F3A champion, so Jack's New Zealander. We won't hold that against him, but he's New Zealand, so he's up pretty late. So it's already 11:30 over there where he is, so he's doing the night shift.
Scott Bargin on screen right now. We've got his onboard camera from W Area 51 Sim Sports in the 009 entry. He's currently 26th on time with a 1:24.36. I could only do a 1:25.7 in testing before this event on the weekend up with Johnny at RaceKraft. So these guys are absolutely low flying around Winton Motor Raceway here.
Yeah, and this is in 5 laps of qualifying. Like I did manage to crack a 23, but it took me about 80 laps to do so.
Is it a quality specific setup?
The qualifying setup's the same as the race setup, just with less fuel, because you don't want to be trying to qualify with a big fat tank full. So
yes, absolutely right. That's good. So cool to have the open qualifier as well. Everyone on track at the same time with only 3 minutes left in the session. Does get down to crunch time at the moment. A lot of your top drivers have actually parked it up in the pits. The top 8 drivers were up in the pits as Damon Woods goes through for second. So Damon starting to really put things to work now.
So the reason they're parked up is, although it's a 15-minute session, they only actually get 5 laps to lay down a time. So there's a little bit of strategic thinking there. Do I go out early and try and set a time, or do I leave it late and try and do it late in the session? And what it does is breaks the group up. So you haven't got 40 guys trying to do a lap all at the same time. But we do want to have an open session where everyone's on the road, because it sort of replicates the real world rather than lone qualifiers where you don't see anybody else, which is a sort of sim racing anomaly.
It's pretty exclusive to the simulator.
But we want to bring that element of racecraft into the racing. That's what we're looking for.
Finding yourself a clean piece of racetrack, a nice bit of real estate to work in, as Dylan Burse goes up to 7th with a 123.82. Aaron Russell across the line, 36th. Aaron trying to move up the order. He's up to 29th now with a 124.3. With only 5 laps of fuel to be able to use with these setups, a lot of the guys have put down their best times, and you want to sit around and sometimes you can actually get lucky if you wait for the second half of the session, but other times, depending on the way the weather is going, it might actually start heating up, and iRacing can be a bit tricky like that sometimes. When the conditions heat up, they start to slow down considerably, and you might actually find yourself unfavoured with the lap speed, but it looks like it's not been so bad right now. Damon Woods no longer on track as Nathan Verney goes across the line. Nathan emerges in the order in position 37, the 282 entry. It's Ashley Lear coming in, and Tyler Blackburn trying to set a lap here for Ty. He's still down in 36 with a 124.6. We'll see what he can put down this time by.
There's another one there, 18th place, Andrew Dyson. Andrew's a New Zealand Formula Forder, so we've got them from across the... It's an international event as well, Chris. We've got, New Zealand Formula Ford guys in here as well. So Andrew, Joshua Andrew and Dyson Freeman are both... That's Andrew Dyson. I've got them mixed up. It's Joshua Andrew and Dyson Freeman, 2 New Zealanders. So we're not sure whether they've made it into gold this week, but we've got some New Zealand entries as well, which is awesome.
Great to have the talent from across the ditch there. Aaron Russell on screen, another real-world driver making his way through. The Alpha Aggressor Racing number 27. He's 29th on time right now as Eddie Bestwick is back out on the racetrack. He's trying for a bit of a mercy lap here to see if he can find a bit more time. A 123.78 keeps Eddie into the number 5 spot right now, just splitting Andre Youssef and Benny Roberts. He's actually ahead of Benny Roberts down to the 3rd decimal place on lap time. That is how tight it is in this order. In fact, from first, if you want to go half a second off of first, then you go all the way back to position 16 and 17. There's half a second covering 16 cars. That is super tight, and that is qualifying done.
And I can see our beautiful FRG safety car has joined us, and we've lost the canoe.
That's great to see as we take you through your starters and drivers for the sprint race in the gold split here. Andrew Gilliam starts on pole with Damon Woods on the outside of the front row. Kobe Williams, a real-world driver, starts 3rd with Andre Youssef starting out of position number 4. Eddie Beswick just parks it into P5 with Benny Roberts on 6, Dylan Burse on 7. Mitch Martin on the 8th spot with Cody Deep and Josh Fitt running out your top 10.
Braden Martin sitting in P11. Matthew McRae in 12th with his Build Ninja Racing. Stuart Bourne, very, very fast Australian there in P13. Ewan Baker, who I expected to see on the front row, he's that fast. 14, Brodie Shepherd 15, Hayden Millington in 16, Seth Brown in 17, Andrew Dyson in 18. Now Mark Lowing, which is Will Lowing, back in 19th, so I think we'll keep an eye on him. He'll be coming through the pack, as will our reigning F3A champion Jack Marrow, who's sitting there in 20th.
We'll definitely keep an eye on those two. Timmy Harris starts out of position number 21 with Ashley Lear, the Learjet, from position number 22. Caleb Hydes from 23rd, and Hayden Veld out of position number 24. From 25 is Ben Miles with Ian Zhu on 26. Scott Barshin down out of 27. Rob Bowden in the Tanked SRT entry from 28. Aaron Russell out of 29. And Caleb Dawson starting position 30.
And Matthew somebody out of 31. Chris Barnes out of 32. Chris is an F3A campaigner, so he's been around a lot. Alex Court's another F3A campaigner, so he's in 33. James Foster out of 34. Max Christensen off 35th. Tyler Blackburn in his analytical racing, 36th. And 37 is Nathan Verney. 38th, Jason Brooks. And we're off.
We go straight to green. That was quick there. Damon Woods trying to get away from the outside of the front row. He got a much better start from the line there than Andrew Gilliman. Woods is going to lead the field down into turn one for this sprint race. A brilliant start from the grid. The whole field getting through mostly. We haven't quite got there yet, but it looks like a great clean start through the chicane for lap one.
This is it's on already, and these two guys are trying to run away at the front. I think we've got a pretty clean start there, which shows the class of the field, doesn't it? When they're racing this hard and this close, get through that without an incident. No, we've got a safety car.
Oh,
Me and my big mouth.
I was going to say, we're going to knock on wood for that one, but we do have a safety car.
I think Stuart Bourne dropping down through the field is, so I'm guessing that's the reason why.
Yep, that's Stuart on screen right there, the red and blue number 30 entry, rejoining through a very awkward position at the hairpins there. He was driving across the track at the first of the hairpins at the back of the track. So we'll check out the Racestars TV action replay. We'll see what the issue was there, watching this one with Ian Zhu. Oh, that was a big blink of a car just popping in right in front of him. And Ian actually damaged the front suspension on Ian's car.
Yep.
Oh, that's got to hurt. A big blink of a car, that car just reappearing right on top of his front end, and that has caused a big old suspension failure for Ian, and that's I think might be what brought our safety car out. We got another replay here looking at Hayden Millington, who stalled on the start line. Bang. There it is.
That's our safety car, I think.
That's the cause of your safety car. Okay. That's a big one there for Hayden Millington. He's an Australian karting campaigner as well, and the Australian Kart Championship was over here in Perth a few weeks ago for the second round of the series. We'll watch this again from the back of Millington's car. Whack! Right there. And that's actually Zhu that hit him.
And that's where the broken suspension came from.
There you go. So that's the cause of our safety car. We'll watch it again here. Watch the 37 of Ian Zhu. From on board, this will be terrifying.
Oh. Yeah.
Makes you jump out of your seat. On the visor cam. It's a monstrous crash on the starting grid there after the stalled car of Hayden Millington has brought out the safety car. We've got the official FRG. Nice to have the Aston safety car back. The safety canoe made its appearance, but we can have a legitimate safety car in this one.
Yeah, so this is Lachlan Capel. Now, Lachlan's one of our race stewards and drives the safety car now. You'd see Lachlan occasionally on the Speed Cafe E-Series, and he is one of the top competitors in that. I think he may even be sort of leading or somewhere near the front of that series. So the safety car has cred as well.
He's a very talented driver, although I do recall a couple of occasions we've given Lachlan a bit of shtick for a couple of missteps as a safety car driver. That said as well, who was it? Steve Templeton, who used to drive the safety car a while ago. I remember him falling off the track at Spa in the F3 series. That was hilarious to watch. Back on the
I think Lachlan spun it one night, so we haven't let him forget that.
We won't let him forget about it, will we?
No.
Oh well, we've only had about a half a lap of racing here, so Damon Woods chomping at the bit. It looks like Lockie's boogieing on out of there with the safety car, so I think we're going to get back to green flag racing in just a red hot moment. This is the sprint race. Dave, it's only red hot 15 minutes in duration, and this sets the grid for the feature.
It sure does, and I'm looking down the list, and there's quite a few movers and shakers, even though there's only been a real half a lap of racing, but there's quite a few people who made quite a few moves, so We'll see. They're pretty hot. They don't have a lot of time to waste in this this sprint race. It's being only 15 laps, and he's off. Now, Kobe Williams there's got a bit of a jump on second place as well. I think he's got a bit of a jump on Andrew Gilliam, although I think he got squeezed down the side by side, trying.
A couple of great side-by-side moves going on from behind. Benny Roberts watching that on. We're 4 wide coming out of the chicane. How often do you see that around Winton? 4 wide into turn 3 as well. And someone off the racetrack and oh dear. Oh dear. That was always going to happen, wasn't it?
It was. 4 abreast into there is never going to work.
And the melee continues further on down the racetrack as well.
Out. It's a bit of silliness because just lift off. You've got a whole feature race to go yet. But these are young guys, red mist.
And all
Formula
the,
One
all
contracts
the
on the line.
Yeah, all the logic and reasoning goes well and truly out the window as soon as that green light comes on. Great move from Kobe Williams though. He's now up to second. But look at the gap that Damon Woods has already put in, 1.3 seconds.
Yep.
Back to Kobe here as they go through the left-hander and make their run towards the final couple of corners. This is the extended section of the racetrack. The run down towards the pits bend. I wonder if Damon's really got the pace advantage to hold on to this gap, or if Kobe is going to be able to put in the work to claw back, because 1.3 seconds over 1 lap is a big loss, especially when you've got some fast drivers. Andrew Gilliam and Eddie Beswick we ride on board with right now, breathing down his neck as they head into the chicane.
Yeah, Eddie's come from a little way back, but as I said, he's one of those guys. He's a quiet achiever, great racecraft. I don't think we'll see Eddie stop just there in 4th place.
He's definitely pushing.
We go
more
4
going on. 4 wide once again here as we pick up with Aaron Russell tucking in with that fight. I think that's Stuart Vaughan going around the outside. Yes, it is. Still trying to go around the outside, side by side out of the second right-handers. Now Vaughan has the inside line advantage into turn 5, and he gets the job done heading up towards rollover corner. And they're still going side by side further behind. Russell and Fitt getting involved in the action before they get hard onto the binders into the pen right corner at turn 7.
So this is a tight and twisty little bit here where it's really nose to tail. It's very hard. Sometimes you can snatch one up the inside, as he just tried to do right there and then. Snatch one up the inside under brakes and sort of force your way down the inside. But very, very hard to do anything. This is called the back straight. It's not that long. You really don't even pull top gear. This is a bit longer now. At the end of this, sometimes you can get up the inside down into that's first corner of the extension there.
We'll go back to Damon Woods leading the way out front now. 1.8 seconds a margin back to Kobe Williams. Both of them moving up 1 spot from your pole setter Andrew Gilliam, who's back there in 3rd, putting the pressure on Kobe as they come out of the chicane. We saw a moment ago, or the previous lap, Kobe got very wide coming off that chicane and went over that torturous rumble strip. If you were in an aero car, would have damaged the floor and would have had some serious struggles throughout the rest of the race. But I think the RaceKraft's FF1600 in iRacing probably isn't as badly hurt by those rumble strips on the exit of the chicane. Not that you want to keep tempting fate by driving over the top of them.
Yeah, the Formula Ford's quite compliant. You can really use the curbs, unlike a lot of cars in iRacing, but it's much more compliant over the curbs, and it seems to be fairly strong, as it probably needs to be with what these boys have put it through out there.
Wait till they patch it and they make it as fragile as a paper plane. I'm sure the day will come. It always happens in iRacing at some point. We go on board with Benny Roberts looking out the back at the moment to Mitch Martin. Some great liveries in this field. All of our drivers getting on board with this RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries with some fantastic liveries to come racing and put them on the big stage. Look out hard Mitch Martin is
one of the
pushing.
favourites for me right now is Eddie Beswick. I think that looks fantastic on the road. It really stands out a mile. Also, I wanted to point out that the setups in this is a fixed setup. So all these guys have got exactly the same setup on the car, same gear ratios, same car. So purely their driving ability is separating them as well. So
good in this series. So
yeah,
it's such an easy way to level the playing field and make sure it all comes down to driver skill and who's potentially been putting in the work to do some practice. As Andre Youssef goes, attempts to go around the outside of Benny Roberts. We've got one in the fence here. Brady Shepherd on the exit of the chicane. Now, has that gotten itself stuck?
It
We
has.
have a situation at the old sticky wall.
It has. I think he'll probably. What have we got?
Oh, he is trying to roll it.
Was
He was trying to shift the car. It's
I
going
don't
to be
think he's got
interesting
any
to see what
option.
race
He's gonna have
control
to
will
pull
do.
for a toe.
Yeah, he probably will here, and whether race control will
We've got a safety car.
straight to safety car. There you go. So we find ourselves in our second safety car of the sprint race. Damon Woods had himself a very healthy margin. I think it was out to almost 2 seconds over
think it's
Kobe
gonna be
Williams back in second.
I think this will be a pretty quick safety car, though. I think because they're in a good part of the track where safety car, I can see the safety car's halfway through the first chicane over there at the moment.
Yeah. So this should be relatively short. They want to keep it relatively short as well, because even circulating, it's going to be at least this lap behind the safety car is going to take 2 minutes. And then we'll only find ourselves with a couple of racing laps left before we finish of this sprint race. And what we don't want is a kind of 1 lap sprint to the finish. They've been talked about enough over the last 12 months or so in the top echelon of motorsports. We don't want to have the eSeries.
Yes, I think IndyCar sort of had an issue with that on the weekend, didn't they?
Yes.
And they're still having an issue with it too.
You gotta love it. Sometimes best laid plans go out the window as we see the whole field putting in some work to try and keep those tyres up to temperature. Now, typically in these cars, it's actually interesting in iRacing, they're still using the Avon ACB 10 Formula Ford platform tyre, which was the tyre that we spent a long time racing on here in Australia. Although now I think the majority, and the National Series as well, is out to the Advan AO50. Is it? Or the
Yokohama.
AO48?
Yeah, they've got the Yokohama tyre in National, and Historic's run on an Avon, but a different Avon, the AE.
Different tread pattern, yeah.
Yeah. This is the British Formula Ford based. This is on what they run at the Formula Ford Festival and the Waller Hayes Trophy, and they use that ACB whatever it is with the square cut block. And this car uses the Kent 1600 engine as per the UK and as per Historic, and Formula 1600 in Australia, not the Duratec that's run in the National Series. So, but this is the traditional Formula Ford with the Kent engine in the back of it.
The original, we'll call it for the diehards out there. This is the class or the level of Formula Ford that I raced in about 10 years and 25 kilos ago in an old 93 car. Fantastic platform of racing. And the old Kent 1600 engine out of, what was it, the 1971 Ford Escort gear. Same engine.
Yeah, and I think it's the old Cortina as well.
Cortina engine, yes.
Yeah.
So a fantastic spec of race car, weighing in at just a smidge over 500 kilos and making
That's a late weight buy, or are we not?
Oh no, we are going to weight buys.
Yeah, we're doing weight buys, and obviously another lap under safety car, which means we're going to get a 1 or 2 lap flyer.
This might just be a 1 lap sprint to the finish here. I'm saying what these engines, they're pumping out about 115 horsepower, and the Kent 1600s don't tend to like to rev beyond anything above 7,000 RPM. They've actually got a bit of a knack to them that if you start to hit 7,000 RPM, they get a bit of valve float, and after that they can tend to self-detonate, which is always great fun.
We used to, back in our day, we didn't really use a lot anywhere near 7,000. The engines were a little bit different in their development back then, and we changed up at about 6.4, 6.6, but they've now got a few more 100 RPM out of them, but it seems to make them competitive. But at $7,000 they just stop. They just don't. There's nothing more above that.
No, I used to have a knack for over revving in my downshifts in my younger years, which is during my period of learning. Hey, I was 16, trying to learn how to do the heel and toe maneuver. The first stepping stone, still well regarded as the first stepping stone out of karts, and that's what it was for me at the age of 16 years old. Going from driving something with no gears to eventually having to manage a 4-speed transmission, heel and toe braking, with no mechanical or computer-aided driving at all inside the car, while shifting with your right hand. That's one of the peculiarities of these cars. It's not a left-hand shifter. You can see the bulb in the body actually of the car on the right-hand side, where the drivers would usually operate the shifter.
Yes.
Right
so
there.
you see it there in the cockpit. See the steering wheel. The steering wheel's about 360 mil. No, it was 280 mil in diameter. Very, very small little wheel. That loop on the left-hand side is probably is that the fire extinguisher?
That would be the fire extinguisher, the firebomb, surely.
So. Yep, firebomb. And he's got the little digital dash up there. And he's about to take us back to green. So Damon's here just, we'll see. He's probably going to go early, I reckon. I think he's gone.
I think he's gone well early, and Kobe Williams has not been caught napping here, but he drops a wheel on the exit of the final corner. That'll rob him slightly as we go for a white flag final lap sprint to the finish.
There's a bit of a move back there in about 6th place, and yes, that's a dive through there by...
I think that was Deeth.
Deeth, that's right. I thought it was Cody Deeth. Now he's lost it again because he lost the momentum through there and dropped back again. So
and burst up the inside there. Deeth dropped the wheel on the exit of turn number 3. But Burst has dropped the wheel on the exit of turn 4. Is having to go defensive through turn 5. There's nowhere really to pass up here except from maybe poking a nose up the inside where Cody Williams is going through.
Here. See,
No, he covered it off.
Yeah, Dylan was wise to it, and he kept a very shallow line out of there, so that he wasn't going to leave a hole down the inside. And we were going to see...
That'll still going to rage on as they head up to the third hairpin.
Thought about that little dive up the inside, but couldn't do it. I think unless there's a mistake by somebody, this is sort of pretty much why we're going to run to the flag.
Yeah, it seems rather processional for a one-lap dash. This is, of course, your sprint race. Their finishing order sets the starting grid for the feature, and you wouldn't want to put too much at risk right now and just secure yourself a nice, tidy finishing starting position for the 30-minute feature race coming up in a moment as Woods comes out of the final turn.
Right there, big smoky into that second last turn.
Yeah, he did for sure, but he's held on for third as Woods takes the win in the sprint. Kobe Williams home for second from Gillam in third. Eddie Beswick grabs fourth. Dylan Burt's up 2 spots from his starting position to P5. Cody Deeth up 3 spots to come home P6 from Andre Youssef in the 7th. Mitch Martin in 8th. Matthew McRae in 9, up 3 spots. Ewan Baker up 4 spots to P10.
And then we've got some of the big movers there. Hayden Veld up 11 spots and Rob Bowden up 14 spots to 14th place. That's a big move in a 15-minute race, especially when the safety car's been out there for half of it.
Yeah, some massive moves. That's some of the biggest ones we see through the field. 14 spots from Rob Bowden. Benny Roberts lost 6 spots. He was inside the top 10 on the starting grid and comes home in position number 12, according to our timing screens here. So that'll be a painful one there. A bitter pill to swallow for Benny Roberts. We'll see him fall down the order as we just jump into a very short warm-up here and we get a chance to just take our breath, Dave, before we get into a 30-minute feature race.
Yeah, so one of the things I was going to say about Formula Ford and the beauty of this here at the moment is that, you know, it gives somebody an opportunity to come from go-karting or whatever to get into a race car without wings, so that you understand the mechanical side of a race car. So what a suspension and a shock absorber do and what difference they make to the way the car feels, and set up the balance of the car purely on the mechanical side of the car without wings. And it's a step that's really missing in the development of a lot of motor racing drivers today. It
absolutely is. I've had a couple of conversations with the well-renowned racing driver coach here out of Perth, BD Suter Dawson, who has pretty much exclaimed that if you get a driver straight out of a kart and put him in a winged car, the wings and the aero hide the little things.
Yes.
They hide the little mistakes that the driver's making, and they hide those smaller 1% areas that can really make an impact in a driver's development in 1, 2, 3 years down the track when they're racing competitively in a wings and slicks car. You think about it, the likes of Daniel Ricciardo, he made his appearance in a Formula Ford up at Barbagallo Raceway here in Western Australia. I think he did 3 events before immediately heading off to do the BMW
he did a Sandown round in Victoria as well. We've actually got our podium from that race sitting in the green room if you want to have a little quick chat, Chris.
Oh, there we go. They're very keen jumping in the green room. We'll grab Damon Woods taking the win in the sprint race. We won't keep you for too long, mate. Congratulations, you get pole for the feature.
Thank you very much. It was a good race. I enjoyed that one.
Having to get the elbows out at the start there, fighting with Kobe.
We were in in call together, so we were communicating throughout the entire race, so we weren't going to do anything stupid with each other.
That's a good bit of smart driving. What's the strategy going for the 30-minute feature coming up?
Try and convert the pole, and then keep it safe at the start, and then hopefully we'll have the pace at the end to stay in front, and hopefully pull away.
Well, best of luck, mate. From the pole, we'll look forward. We might be talking to you in about half an hour's time.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Dave, I'll give you Kobe for second.
Kobe, mate, it's great to see you out there in the Formula Ford. I know you're used to it. I know you're used to the real thing. So, good run tonight.
Yeah, it was a good start to the night. P2, it was good, close racing there at the start with Andrew and Damon. So, yeah, it was good to finish the race off in P2.
Yeah, because you had a bit of rotten luck in the real world lately, so it's good to see you sitting there on the podium up in P2. I think, mate, you well deserve it.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best few buddy race meets, but yeah, it's good to get a result tonight on the sim.
All right, well, best of luck for the feature, mate, and I think you need to put stamp some authority out there for the real world boys, and make sure you're sitting on the top step.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
We'll go now to Andrew Gilliam. Andrew, you couldn't quite convert the pole in the sprint, but I have a feeling that it might have been one of those moments where you're trying to conserve yourself and make sure you get a good spot for the feature.
Yeah, it was only the 15-minute race, so I didn't want to do anything too dicey and ruin our chances in the main one. But yeah, Damon got a really good start, good reaction. Off the line, I was just happy to settle in behind him, and then Kobe just got a blistering restart, caught me napping. So yeah, and that was a really fun race, like half a lap side by side. So yeah, awesome respect, awesome racing. It was heaps of fun.
Well, mate, we'll wish you the best of luck and get you onto the grid for the feature, because there's only a minute left of this warm-up. Good luck, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
There you go. That was red hot. I wasn't expecting them to jump in.
I just noticed them sitting in there, and I went, oh, look, we've got some friends.
We've got some guests.
Hello.
Save us from talking through the whole thing.
Yeah, so we're just a little warm up here. Just some of the guys go out there, really just do some quiet laps, just to calm their nerves a little bit in a lot of cases. And some of them just drive because they don't. They sit there and they worry. So then, better just to drive. So you'll find some people do and some people don't.
Some people take the opportunity to hop up and run to the loo if they need be, or grab themselves a drink, or maybe even spend a moment just reviewing a couple of the incidents or mistakes they might have made from the previous race. As we get a couple of messages coming through here. Luke's feeding us some messages. Scott Millington watching from the middle of China, and fingers crossed that Hayden has a better race for the feature. So Scott watching in. Good to see that he's got a good internet connection.
Very cool.
I know that can be pretty sketchy sometimes, trying to get connected from there.
Yeah. I'm not going to make any comment with regards to his Chinese communication.
Here we go then. This is your starting grid for the feature race for the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries. Damon Woods starts on the pole alongside Kobe Williams on the outside front row. Andrew Gilliam, your pole setter from the heat race, starts on third, with Eddie Biswick on P4. Dylan Burst from 5, Cody Dietz from 6. Andre Youssef out of P7 from Mitch Martin in 8, Matthew McRae in 9, and Ewan Baker starting out of position number 10.
Seth Brown sitting in 11, and our old favourite Benjamin Roberts there in 12th. We'll see him make some moves, I'm sure, in the main. Hayden Veld and Rob Bowden, both huge movers in the sprint race, so they'll continue that trend. Caleb Hyde, Stuart Vaughan, Aaron Russell, Matthew off P18, Alex Court off 19, Josh Pitt off 20. So Josh is here by himself. His brother's normally with him, but I think he's having a baby at the moment. So
there you go. Scotty Bargin starting out of position 21 with Chris Barnes out of 22. James Foster from 23rd, and Ben Miles starting out of position number 24. There we go. There's the next page. Dyson Freeman starting out at 25 with Ty Blackburn from 26. Ian Zhu, who we saw had that massive incident in the sprint race, back to P27 from Mark Lowing in 28. Tinny Harris on 29, and Nathan Verney starting out at position number 30.
Caleb Dawson off 31, and the Learjet is off 32. Max Christensen off 33, with Andrew Dyson from DPR Racing in P34. 35th is Jason Brooks. and Callum Arthur off P36. Hayden Millington, which we were just talking about, 37, so he's got a fair way to go, and an unusually low position for Jack Marin, P38. Braden Martin off 39, and Brody Shepherd bring up the back. We saw him stuck in the fence there. That'll be why he's off P40.
So that is your starting grid here as we are getting set to go, Dave. The revs will rise. We'll wait for the starter to give his instructions, and we're getting away. Watch for any stalls further back in the field as we go straight to the point. This time Woods getting the good start once again here, but a big push there from Gilliam trying to fight his way through up the inside. I think that was one round. Oh no, it's all falling apart in the feature race. Big carnage and one upside down. That's going to be a safety car for sure.
Oh no, maybe they're clearing.
Well, that car upside down was
Dyson
off the racetrack.
Yeah, Dyson Freeman's stuck in the middle of the road. Unfortunately, he's trying to get it off the road. We have got a safety car.
There you go. So
Damon Woods held the pole. Kobe Williams stuck in behind. Remember, they're talking to each other because they're teammates. So they're talking to each other live from car to car. So they're probably working together. So then you've got Andrew Gilliam has actually secured that third place, and Eddie Beswick is sitting right there. Eddie's been quiet all night, but keep an eye on him. I've got my money on Eddie to make another couple of spots yet. Cody Deeth there in 5th, Dylan Burson 6th.
Here we go. Let's check out this replay watching Dyson Freeman in the 31 car down into turn number 1. And he gets helped as well from behind, and it turned him and caused a huge amount of carnage further back. I'm sure we're going to see that from another angle. Here we go from behind Dyson. Watch for this white car on the left-hand side of screen as they come down and just... I don't actually know. It might have been a bit of net code, but it certainly got him turned.
It's the car from down the inside. He's dived down the inside, locked the brake. 37, car 37.
Yeah, got him on the left rear. We'll watch it again here. We'll see it from this one. This is on board with Nathan Verney, and there's the car on the left. Bang, there it is.
Ian Zoo there, gone down the inside and just run out of room. There's the, you go down there
from Nathan as well. Great thinking from Nathan to match that. This is on board with Ian Zoo, who just got in there too deep. Yeah. The classic wheel overlap issue. It's pretty famous for new drivers making a debut in Formula Ford racing. You know all about that too, Dave. They find themselves getting a bit angry, a bit hungry, and they overlap wheels, and off you go.
Yeah. So, well, I think we'll be probably back to safety, back to racing pretty quickly, because we won't have any wave buys, I wouldn't think, this early in the race, I'm going to guess. And Ian Zoo and Max Christensen, Nathan Verney, who were all involved in that, will have, they've all got a fast repair, so they'll fix their cars. They'll be back.
Verney didn't lose out on any spots. I think he was actually brilliant on getting the car stopped. He's showing us in the line of cars that are rolling around right now. He's only lost 6 spots from his original starting position. You can see him at the back of the train here on screen. So he did a fantastic job to stop the car smack bang in the middle of the racetrack and avoid the incident. If he hasn't sustained any damage, he'll be a very lucky man right now.
Yes. So we're going back to green this lap. So now Damon Woods will take control of the field in a second, which he's probably got now, and it'll be up to him to make a choice as to when he wants to go. And here's Kobe getting very, very, very close and friendly up the back.
Well, if they're talking to each other in the chat, they'll know the game plan, and Kobe's going to try and probably go with him. An inside line, when I used to run with the RaceKraft team, we used to communicate if we had a driver on pole, so it's no surprise if they take off together and they get onto the front straight here. But Damon leaving very late.
Very, very interested in there's some runs from the back there, so we've...
This is looking dicey. Woods has gotten away. Kobe into second, but look it up the inside. It's 3 wide.
That's Cody Deeth making a big deep dive, and he's pulled it off. Beautiful
Fantastic move.
And the
Beswick is
loser out of
the
that is
loser out of it.
unfortunately Eddie Beswick, and he's got commentator's curse. I'm not going to say another thing about him.
Beswick down to position 9 after that. He's lost the spot to Ewan Baker. He's down now 5 spots after all of that action on these first couple of laps. But great to see. I think everyone got through that chicane 3 wide, unscathed. So great move from Cody Death. I'd love to see that again. Oh,
And I'm going to say it was a great move by Cody Death with some beautiful driving by the other guys to avoid making that turn into a big incident.
Yeah,
So,
sometimes it can be just one flinch away there as Joshua Fitt taking the Formula Fords off on the rallycross route through the infield. Just as we see our leaders go past down the back straight through the left-hander. Damon's trying to get away here.
Yeah, he's sitting pretty quiet and comfortable. He doesn't look like he's pushing the car. He's certainly not extending it. He knows he's got a teammate behind him who's behaving himself, so these guys can just concentrate and try and pull away from the rest of them. But when you've got 40 cars within, well within a second of each other in ultimate pace, you're not going to pull away.
No, it's going to be very difficult to be able to pull away a big margin. But we've got one off. Who was that? That's Cody Death, I think.
That's Cody. Cody's had a huge moment there.
Oh, and he's gotten bottled up, tucking back into the race order now. And we've got a spinner. He's avoided it. Death has gone hard left to try and avoid it. Oh, no, and this is getting even worse. Mitch Martin catching up the spin. And look at this, cars going left, right, and everywhere to try and miss. He's been tagged twice now by cars going through. And there's a third.
Still getting tagged.
Oh, my goodness. Horror run there for Mitch Martin. It started with the spin going around turn 4. There's the dejected face of an iRacing driver who's caught up and out of action here in the Spectrum entry.
The unfortunate thing was there, he kept rolling. He kept rolling and moving and,
I think he was almost trying to get going and saying, oh, maybe I can catch this one. But there he gets double whacked. Then there was a third one just after that. Watch the replay here. He looks to the inside on Death. And then I think he's by himself.
Yeah, he's just pushed it a bit hard. Got a bit cramped by getting further ahead of himself than he expected to be on the inside of the other car, which was that Eddie Beswick, was it?
I think it was
or
Beswick,
Dylan Burst. Might have been Dylan Burst or Eddie Beswick, one of the two. But he's got up inside them, got cramped a little bit, and it only takes a little bit and around the car's gone.
So a horror run there. He goes to the back now. We watch this one. This was Death on the recovery.
I'd like to know what actually happened to Death there, that he lost it back on that short straight.
How's the avoidance driving, though, from Cody Death? Great awareness of your car's placement on the racetrack.
Here it is.
So there it was on the right-hand side. How did he get over there? He might have just gotten the back end a bit loose coming off the chicane.
He's got the back end a bit loose.
Yeah. Here we go. We're going to get another shot at it. Here we are with Death through the chicane. What's he doing? He's grabbed a bit of the curb. Oh, he's gone over the rumble strip. Airborne. Great piece of recovery driving there from Cody Death to come straight out of that and avoiding the fence to then straight in the thick of another battle. And then all of this unfolds. Watch him go snap hard left and he dodges the accident. We'll catch that again here from Cody. This is a great piece of recovery driving to try and save the car. Way out wide. Watch for the airtime. Off we go. That was huge. And whoever the car was behind him as well, that was, I think it was Andrew Youssef. Andre Youssef in the 9 car did a great job to avoid Cody on the racetrack because that was a very tight moment.
Yeah, so, and a nice rejoin, safe and fast.
As safe as you're going to get when you're like that.
So now wave bys for the lap cars will go through now, and once that's done, I think we'll be going back to green.
So taking the opportunity to help our field out here. I do really love the opportunity given in the regs with FRG, with the offering to get lapped cars back onto the lead lap. You can see one car going past there, just going to go firing past on the right-hand side in a moment. There it disappears. And Damon Woods sitting in the box seat right now. This can start to get pretty nervous when you're sitting behind the safety car for this long.
Yeah, I mean, he's going, these are 2 laps I don't have to defend.
That's very true. But another restart he has to navigate with his teammate Kobe right behind. Andrew
And
Gilliam.
they've tried early and late restarts. So
yeah, we're going to see one somewhere in the middle this time.
I think the late restart didn't really work for them last time. So I'm going to go that he's going to go early again this time.
Might just be if you can jump just before the apex of the second to final corner, you definitely catch out probably everyone from 5th and beyond who are going to miss out on the jump. So you can give you a fair old advantage. And if you're lucky enough to catch the guy behind you napping, although I don't think that'll be the case if they're in the chat together, don't know exactly when the other driver is going to go, you might have an opportunity to open up the gap. We're just over 10 minutes into the feature race here for the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries Gold feature race for the first round of the official Australian Formula Ford Championship eSeries. What a great initiative put together, powered by FRG, and a big thank you to all of the sponsors getting involved. Australian Formula Ford Championship involved with this for their official series with this new car brought to iRacing, and a great addition to the platform to get some young drivers involved and have a lot of fun.
So we're about to go back to green at the end of this one. So the Aston Martin has belted off into the distance, and Lachlan's put his foot down to get that back out of the way of the cars so they can make a clean restart. And Damon Woods now has control of the field.
You see on board for just a moment with Scott Bargine, the Dubby Area 51 Sim Sports up the road. He is having a good run of it. He's up 5 spots to 16th on the racetrack right now. He's a happy man. Love the sim setups from some of these guys too. Great rigs. Yeah. A lot of time and money, especially money, invested into some of the rigs and setups for these guys.
You know all about that.
Oh, I do. 20 grand deep and still feeling it. Here we go. Green flag. We are back to racing. Oh no, there's already been carnage at the back. What is that? That is horrible. And that's Stuart Vaughan off the racetrack before they even got to the line on the restart. That is incredibly awkward. And a huge loss there for Vaughan. But Woods will hold on to the lead. Kobe Williams to second. They've already got the jump over Andrew Gilliam in third. Dylan Burst and Cody Deeth 4th and 5th on the racetrack. A little bit further behind, you've got all that action coming through with a great field of drivers. I want to see what happened before that restart, though, when we get an opportunity. If we can.
Wild.
That
All I saw was
horrible.
Spearing off in a pile of smoke.
Yeah, before they even come onto the main straight to pick up the pace for the restart. So Woods through the hairpins at the back of the track here. Turn 7, 8 and 9 before they make their way down the Shannon Straight. Here's that replay we're watching for. Watch this. So it was the 97 car. Went for the overlap before they even got the light. That was a very awkward one.
I would suggest that we might be seeing him copying a little bit of a penalty for that one.
That's Matthew Hansford-Taylor too, a driver well known. Oh no, there goes Kobe Williams.
That's Kobe.
Kobe rides a wheel on the front end of Andrew Gilliam, I believe, and Kobe upside down coming onto the main straight. One of your main contenders out and upside down. That is awful.
His real world luck continues, and we've got more in the dirt
going on.
It's just like they do in the real world, isn't it?
Yeah, this is turning into a rapidly devolving situation here. Now Beswick fighting his way forward. Cody Deeth in there as well. He's up the inside. So Deeth has taken advantage here. That was it was Gilliam and I think Beswick getting stuck on each other coming off the chicane, and that has allowed Deeth now up into second. Woods is rubbing his hands together and loving this right now. Probably reminiscing or ruminating with his teammate as well, though. Kobe Williams upside down, but Deeth having a great run up to second. Gilliam into third, and they're still fighting it over it as Beswick trying to look around the outside at the second hairpin.
Yes, I think Beswick's trying to come back because remember he dropped down to about 6th or 7th place, so he's jumped 2 or 3. He's got his teammate behind him again, so another one that's I'm guessing not too worried about the guy behind. Here we get a replay.
So this Kobe Williams is on the defensive.
And big dive
Gilliam
up
looks to the inside.
Yep.
Kobe doesn't realise he's there, and off he goes.
No, and he well and truly up the inside, so I think he deserved to be given a little bit of room there. So
Yeah, Gilliam had a lot of overlap in that one, and unfortunately for Kobe, it means his run to the front is pretty much over. But Gilliam survived that, and he got caught up in this battle, which sees him drop to third now. Cody Deeth with a great run up to second. I want to bring your attention to, though, as we see Kobe Williams, who's rejoining, he's doing the right thing and letting the whole field go by to go a lap down. Benny Roberts, 12th on the grid, now position 6, right on the back of this battle pack.
yeah, and Benny certainly knows how to be aggressive. So you know, it'd be good to see him up there in the middle. So he's just got to close this little bit of a gap here, and I don't think it'll be a problem because they're all holding each other up. So he'll be right on the back of this in a second, but he's got 2 teammates in front of him. So
his fastest lap of the race is half a second quicker than anyone else in the top 5 right now for Benny Roberts. And last lap alone, he was 2 tenths, 3 tenths quicker than everyone else in front of him. So Benny is on a mission right now. The simrigs.com number 73 entry. He's on the charge.
New livery. Because I forgot he's joined the Simrigs team, and it looks great. But it's just not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for his old machine cult.
The old machine cult car. It's the same white, red, and black, so it's similar enough to see for Benny. As we see Caleb Hyde's under pressure here, coming into the final corners. Caleb battling it out with Seth Brown and Aaron Russell. He's the meat in the middle of the sandwich at the moment, coming onto the main straight. As we've crossed over the halfway point, Dave, we're just on 16 minutes down. 14 to go. Deep under pressure at the chicane. He's run it deep into there. Watch Gilliam to try and fight to the inside at turn 3. He crosses over. This is dicey.
It is.
Real
and
dicey.
I see Damon Woods is setting the timing sheet to light out front and running away.
Yeah, so he should be as well if he's not involved in this fight, as Gilliam and Deeth touched through turn number 3, but they managed to keep it on the racetrack. Right behind, we right on board with a box seat for this battle with Eddie Beswick right now. Just fire it up the inside. Note they both choose to defend at the first of the hairpins. You see Beswick gets the better exit. Now he can't do anything with it though, because it's such a tight part of the racetrack. He can't fire it up the inside on them. And he's got his mirrors full of Benny Roberts. You can just see in the right-hand mirror there that 73 Simrigs entry of Benny Roberts just stalking his rear gearbox at the moment. As Gilliam defends again to the inside. That'll hurt his exit. These cars are so much about momentum. Watch the run that Beswick has. Just a little bit closer. And he has a late look to the inside.
Oh!
Great move.
He's got it. He's got it. So, didn't leave a lot of room. Didn't leave a lot of room on the outside, but beautiful move.
Williams actually lost 2 spots. Oh no, Gilliam into the side of Benny Roberts. Oh, it's Gilliam and Roberts off the racetrack on the main stretch. I was just going to say, Gilliam lost 2 spots in that exchange, and then I saw Benny going flying across the racetrack. And that's 2 more of your top contenders out of this one. Gilliam back to 9th now.
I missed what happened, so I'm looking forward to this replay.
Yeah, here we go. And Gilliam, oh, he's out of tank slapper rejoining actually.
That's just very, very, very unfortunate. Gee, so far off the road.
He kept his foot into it and he drove it straight back and slid it back in. Whew.
Unfortunately, poor old Benny's just copped the hip and shoulder there. None of his fault, and not particularly the fault of the guy that Andrew Gilliam. Just a bit of motor racing and it happens. And next week it'll happen the other way around. So
I'm sure he'll get his own back. That was Dylan Burse who was up his inside as well, coming onto the main straightaway. And I think Gilliam just ran it out a bit wide. Maybe didn't see Dylan go for the move until too late. Dropped a couple of wheels in the dirt, but that tank slapper was something that would break your neck in the real world and sent Benny Roberts for a wild ride across the infield. And unfortunately, Benny has rejoined. Well, has he actually rejoined, or has he gone back to the pits? He's down in 36th position. We'll see that again here. Watch this. From Andrew Gilliam's perspective, the 14 down the inside at first.
Different shoulders from Burse.
He hit the wall.
Yeah, he's got a tank slap on from the being on the dirt.
I think he might have actually caught the wall with the left rear of the car as well, trying to find a bit of real estate to work in there. And unfortunately, Benny Roberts was definitely wrong place, wrong time. But it's good to see that Andrew hasn't got damage and he'll stay in this one.
The battle continues. Part 3.
This is fantastic. Look at the margins on our timing screen right now. Cody Deeth holding a solid second place from Eddie Beswick. From Dylan Burst, then Hayden Veld and Seth Brown, who we're watching on screen right now. He's in the second pack of races, fighting it out for 6, 7, 8, and 9 on the road. Andrew Gilliam tagging on the back of that pack in P9 right now. And right behind him is Alex Court. Alex having a great run here. Up 9 positions from his starting spot in this feature race over Tyre Blackburn, who's up 15 spots. Blackburn on an absolute charge after his qualifying effort, and that first heat race saw him down the order, and he was well down the order as well. Ty having an absolute tear here.
And Chris, am I right in reading that in 31st place, Mitch Martin has the fastest lap of the race?
Wouldn't be surprising. Mitch Martin, I think, was caught up. Was that the first safety car we saw for the race from memory, down 23 spots? So he started inside the top 10 cars. He was one of the cars that was caught up on the start there. So lapping by himself, probably got that fast repair, the one repair you're allowed, and with no one to work with, because the next car up the road is 5 seconds further up the road and 2 seconds further behind for Dyson Freeman. He's got no one to play with, so he may as well bang out some hot laps. A 1:23.4 that is matching on par with your race leader, Damon Woods, lapping in the 1:23.42 right now for Woods.
2 1,000ths of a second faster than your leader.
Oh my goodness, Aaron Russell just getting caught up there at turn 9. The Alpha Aggressor Racing entry, car 40, now going to lose a ton of spots. Let's check the replay on that one. What happened here? So Russell's out wide a little bit. The 42 car, Andrew Gilliam getting caught up in another incident.
So he's just lost it himself, as we saw in the earlier race there, where just so easy to lock the rear brake around there, just unsettle the rear, get it loose and around it's gone.
Well, for a car that doesn't have a synchro in the transmission as well, if you want to bring that one out, it's one of the biggest training tools for young drivers learning their racecraft in cars for the first time. And these transmissions, the Hewland LD200s in a Formula Ford, they don't have a synchro gear, so it can't automatically match its speed when you're going from gear to gear. So if they're getting on the down change late in the corner, or even if they've just wound on a little bit too much brake bias, it can so easily lock the rear and start to overheat the tyre. And when they start to get on the power, it can start to get loose on the exit like that. As we just saw Hayden Millington for a moment. I know Scott's watching from China. Hayden, well up the order, 14th.
Let's see if we can get Hayden Millington. Here we go. Hayden Millington up on screen, so he's in 14th place. That's a good run.
And he's right on the back of a massive battle as well.
Moved up 23. He's moved up 23 positions, Chris.
That's the biggest mover of the field so far.
And he's going to make that 24.
Another move there for Millington. Great move up at the left-hander as well. It's a tight spot to make that move happen. You're going to get some closing speed on.
I don't think we should talk about him because I don't want to give him the commentator's curse after such a great drive.
He's just got to lucky number 13 as well, so we're all upset for that one. Next in line will be James Foster, the 281 entry. James is up 11 spots. There's been a lot of big movers and shakers outside the top 10 in this field. Foster on screen at the moment, running 12th on the racetrack, up 11 spots behind Ben Miles, who's up 13 spots. And Tyler Blackburn sitting in position number 10, up 16 spots with a little over 6.5 minutes left in this race. Blackburn having a great run here. We'll try and take the spotlight away from Millington for the moment, although we know Scott watching from China will be cheering him on. We'll watch the 947 JTIT entry. There's Hayden on screen, back to him, having a good run. P13 at the moment, trying to chase down James Foster in 12th.
Yeah, so the next round of this is at Mid-Ohio in the US, which is another twisty course, but it's very, very up and down. And I think round 3 we go off to Monza. I can't wait to see these boys at Monza, 4 and 5, 6, 7 abreast.
Oh, it's going to be some.
I think we've got some great racing ahead of us.
Yeah, very much so. The Formula Fords, despite not having the big aero packages that we see from the bigger cars, they are fantastic to drive in the slipstream. And the tow is still worth so much more time as we watch this battle going through. Andrew Dyson on screen right now. I think Luke might be playing with some overlays here on our feed that we get to see.
Box.
Dyson up to 16th spot right now. He's having a good run as well. He's up 18 spots and fighting it out with the cars around him. So Dyson just watching Timmy Harris and Andre Yusuf
back to our leader now.
As Damon,
look at him cruising away. He's got
it's a lonely drive, isn't it?
He's got 4.73 seconds in hand, so might as well be 5 seconds in hand. And yeah, just class of the field tonight. He's not been flustered. Nobody's really put a move on him. He's just showed exuded confidence out there in the lead. Really has.
He sure has. It's quite easy to maintain your composure from the point when everyone else behind you is seemingly tripping over each other to try and get to you. There's the margin visually, almost 5 seconds back to Cody Deeth, who's up 4 spots from his starting position in second. Eddie Beswick back to third. There's your race calendar in the right-hand side of your screen.
Round 3 Monza, and then we're back to Sandown Park. Oran Park, which is brilliant. Beautiful old home of Formula Ford. Fantastic for the cars. Off to Phillip Island in September. Road Atlanta. Now, round 8 is interesting because we've put in Pukekohe because we know we've got a lot of New Zealand guys running. iRacing are working on Pukekohe. They've scanned it, and if it's ready in time, we'll do that. And then the last 2 rounds, we've penciled in for Brands Hatch and Silverstone. And if we've got good support at the end of the season, we'll try and reflect those events in not just in the racing, but in the format of the racing. So for the Formula Ford Festival and the Walter Hayes Trophy.
It's going to be fantastic to have the opportunity to run our very own virtual Formula Ford Festival and Walter Hayes Trophy. The opportunity now with this car and platform is fantastic as we watch Ian Zhu, currently 28th on the racetrack. Ian's been showing up on our stream quite a bit, getting caught up in a couple of the incidents throughout both the sprint race and the feature, running the B&M Simulation Pursuit Racing and Sponsors Wanted entry if anyone wants to throw a bit of cash around. Back to Damon Woods, your race leader, 4.7 seconds to margin as Cody Deeth has actually set the fastest lap of the race back there in second. Cody fought his way to the front earlier in the race. We're inside the final 3 minutes now. A 1:23.28 was set a moment ago by Cody in second. So the fuel load's starting to burn off and these cars are starting to get a lot quicker as we see a bit of the old negative dead situation with these tyres. They don't really tend to go off very quickly like we see in many of the more manufactured racing kind of classes with the tyre compounds. These Avon tyres stick around for the ride. And so there's one car off there right in front of Seth Brown.
Wide.
That was a bit wide there for Hayden Veld in the 53 entry, just holding on to the spot to stay in the top 5. You can see it's on the defensive now too. The pressure's on.
Yeah, these tyres, I did a couple of because I did the setup and the setup for the car for tonight and whatever, and we did some quite long sessions in it, just making sure it was all good. And the tyres are extremely stable throughout the whole 30 minutes. So, we've got Mitch Martin around again.
Oh, Mitch off the track.
Yeah, he's probably hot lapping and pushing pretty hard to try and do some quick laps and having a bit of fun.
Throws it in the bin, unfortunately, as we go back to Eddie Beswick now from Dylan Burst right behind the teammates.
Don't they look great, these liveries? That is beautiful to see the guys putting in so much effort to present themselves, properly as they do in the real world.
Fantastic to have. We need some Sonic Motorsports entries out here. That would look fantastic. I remember seeing those guys get around in the National Series in the late 2000s, well represented in their cars.
Yeah, Eddie's real race cars all black wheels, black, and more black. So it's nice to see him in something that's not black.
That's how his F3 used to be as well in the F3A series. for quite some time. This is a great scrap going on at the moment for 5th, 6th and 7th. Hayden Veld, Seth Brown and Caleb Hydes tucking in there. Don't count out.
That one down the inside. That's a really dangerous move, but he's pulled it off. He's got... Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, he's had a big moment. They're still fighting for it. So he's obviously lost a bit of momentum there and hung on to it in the end, but there's a bit of a wiggle there. Make sure everything's okay before I dive under brakes.
It was a bit of a hairy moment there. Great save, though, from Caleb. Was on the outside coming off that left-hander and up in a part of the racetrack where you're not really going to be fighting for position. As we see the white flag is out, 1 lap to run for Damon Woods. Your leader has got an absolute mortgage on this feature race from Cody Deeth across the line in 2nd right now. 1 to run to hold on to this, but the race is not over for 3rd. How's this battle?
Close. That's how this battle is. Very close.
Watching on from Dylan
Their
Burst.
teammates, I don't think they're going to do anything silly. Mind you, would you trust them? They're Formula Ford races.
I wouldn't, because I know what I used to do to Gianni Lutsu when I used to race with him, and I used to drive him nuts with it as well, throwing a couple of moves. You can see they're still
you can see the car
Watch the back
getting
of
loose
Beswick's
through
car.
Yeah.
Oh, bursts up over the curbing even. He's trying to look for a way up the inside. I bet these boys are grinning from ear to ear right now, just with the bit between their teeth and fighting it out for that last podium position. 2nd place is miles up the road. Your leader is gone from this one. Some great battling going on here for 3rd.
But not over yet. They're not going to give up until they're out of the last corner. There we go again. Another dive down the inside, but they're looking for momentum out of that corner to get the run up here. Brilliant drive from Damon Woods. Fantastic job. Class of the field. Just drove away with it. What a fabulous drive. Cody Deeth went through all sorts of drama in the middle there, but class showed through. 3rd, and here's the teammates Eddie Beswick and Dylan Burst for 3rd and 4th, and another one of their teammates in 5th, and another one in 6th. So that's a 4 in a row for their team. So fantastic bit of driving.
Great to have there. That was Beswick, Burst, Veld and Caleb Hydes. Seth Brown in position 7 over Andrew Gilliam in position number 8. A great run for Alex Court. Thoroughly impressed with his run to come home in position number 9. And Tyler Blackburn up the road, up 16 spots from 26th on the grid to round out your top 10 for Ty. That's a great run for him. Ben Miles in the 11th spot. Hayden Millington, with Scott watching on from China, had a great drive. 25 spots he moved up overall to come home position number 12. Great run there for Hayden from Foster, Yusuf, Andrew Dyson, Ashley Lear, Timmy Harris, Max Christensen, Jack Mara up 19 spots to position number 19, and Braden Martin up 19 spots to position number 20. But your winner, Damon Woods, getting a bit loose out there in the dirt trying to celebrate.
Right now, he's allowed to do that now.
A great representation and a great day of racing for the first round of the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries. Stick around, we're going to have a chat with your winners as they just finish off their cool-down laps. They'll make their way into the green room. Once again, there's a look at your results for your feature race. Damon Woods with that clear win. It ended up being over 5.5 seconds, Dave.
That's a big margin over this quality field.
Massive margin there for Damon Woods. A fantastic run. Cody Deeth into 2nd. Showing up under the Williams Esports banner there with a great drive. He had to get the elbows out at multiple occasions. Eddie Beswick with that great run there over his teammates, running between either Vendervolt or Synergy Sim Racing. With the 4 of them all coming across the line in order to go 3rd through to 6th. Seth Brown in 7th and Gilliam and Court. We've got a replay here. Let's check this out. No replay. Just your overall results.
We're back at the start.
Oh yes, back to the pointy end. Over the top of your results. There was the start there. As we're going to bring in, I think, a few of your drivers. We've got a few waiting in the green room here. We're going to bring in our top 3.
Of course, Damon Woods is here first. You got here about 4.5 seconds before the other guys.
He just about did. even despite the celebrations at the end. We'll see if we can get the boys in here to have a chat as we watch some brilliant slow-mo from Luke at Racestars TV over that one. Here we go. Damon Woods, your winner for the feature race. A dominant performance there. 5.5 seconds, 5.6 seconds at the end there, Damon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one was just avoiding the incidents that were happening behind me. I mean, just had to convert the start and then all the restarts as well to, then drive away with the victory there.
We were keeping a close eye on those early couple of restarts where we spent a bit of time behind the safety car. You were changing things up. What was going through your mind trying to pick whether you're going to go early or go late on those restarts?
Well, I know that in real life, especially on draft tracks, the best way to go is quite late, but I figured that I'm better off shaking up here so that it's hard to judge instead of everyone being able to pick when I'm going to go if I keep coming around on the front straight.
Fair enough. What was going through your head when you saw your mate Kobe go for a big ride at the final corners? I bet he was pretty upset over that.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because me and Cobb were going to have a good race there, but yeah, I guess that's a racing incident. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens.
Well, congratulations once again. Stick around. We're going to do some thank yous once we go through second and third. Over to you, Dave.
Yeah, so second there, we've got... sorry, excuse me. Yeah, we've got Cody, and mate, big run. Unfortunately, the fight was really behind you, not in front of you, wasn't it? Trying to hold the guys back. Unfortunately, Damon got away a bit, and there wasn't really any catching him. So, what's your story?
Oh, just didn't have pace in the end. Damon was just so quick, I couldn't keep up. And I was just struggling. Tyres were still cold after the safety car, so I had no grip. I just didn't manage it very well. So, yeah, let Damon get away quite early on.
I wouldn't be too disappointed. Second place out of what was over 100 qualifiers is a pretty good effort. So,
it's good points. Good points.
I think unfortunately you guys got involved a little bit with each other behind Damon and sort of held yourselves up and gave him that little bit of a break, didn't it? And Kobe's accident as well.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate watching him flip. Unfortunate.
All right, well, hang around. We'll come back to you after for some thank yous. And Chris, I'll pass the last one to you.
Eddie Beswick, home across in third in the feature race. A great drive to get there. How was it from your side, mate?
Oh, yeah, it was pretty wild. It was really good fun there. A fair bit went on. Got shuffled back on a restart, but through all the carnage, I was able to get myself back up the pointy end. So, yeah, it was good fun.
Those last couple of laps there, just fighting it out with Dylan. What was going through your mind? Were you guys conversing, trying to work on it and keep each other at bay, or was it gloves were off and race it to the line?
Oh, well, with 2 laps to go, he made the point that there was 3 seconds up front and there was 3 seconds behind. So, I was free to race, and yeah, we raced. But obviously we were teammates, so the respect was there, and we weren't going to take each other out.
Fantastic result, because you got the teammates. You got 3rd through 6th, didn't you?
Yeah, well, actually, we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's just they all didn't run the skins. Fair enough. We got some real life in there, and then Kobe was even in there, and Matt was in there. So possibly with them finishing the race, we could have clean swept the top 8. But yeah, still a good result to get the top 6.
It would have been a big effort. How much you're looking forward to running the remainder of the series, and how awesome is it to have this Formula Ford Championship on board with FRG?
Oh, it's unreal. It's great to have a good competitive field race alongside the real championship on the tracks that we can do. So yeah, it's really good fun. Thanks to Roo for putting on such a good series.
Well, might as well, we'll start with you then, as we'll keep it on board. Time for your thank yous. Who do you have to thank?
Oh, I'd like to thank all the drivers in Eclipse who are working together in this round. So Damon, Cody, Dylan, Hayden, Caleb, Kobe and Matt. We all work together here, and Mum and Dad.
Well said. Always got to thank Mum and Dad, mate. Good job. On to 2nd place then, Cody D. Who would you like to thank? Cody's there?
Sorry. Yeah, thanks to Mum and Dad. buying me all my gear, let me race. It's good. Thanks to all the Eclipse boys. Good racing as always. And yeah, good race.
And lastly, Damon Woods, your overall feature race winner after a bit of a clean sweep from the sprint and the feature. Time for your thank yous, mate.
Might have to plug the real life sponsors here. So a big thank you to Apex Steel, Aviation Component Services, John Bow, Synergy Race Engines, and Dave's Decals for all their support this year.
A fantastic result, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, that's your top three done. Dave, it's been a fantastic start to this season for the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries powered by FRG. There's another look at your calendar. We're looking forward already to late June, heading to mid-Ohio.
Yeah, so that's as I said, a very, very twisty, sweeping up and down circuit. Really, really good in a Formula Ford. So I think the boys will put on a great show there again. But that's 27th of June. So in the meantime, we've got a couple of other events coming up that keep tuning into Racestars TV and watch out for us. But great effort by everybody tonight. The effort put in by all the drivers. Presentation of cars, the presentation of the deliveries, the working together. Everybody out there, everybody we've spoken to has had fun. There was very little aggro, really, really awesome driving. And I think everybody showed a real class, giving each other room and trying to race. Yeah, there's some things where, like, unfortunately, Kobe ended up on his roof, but that is the real world. They are racing, and they do want to win. They all want to win.
They absolutely do. It's fantastic to have such a strong showing as well. If you're watching this and you want to get involved, or you have any friends and family that you know would be red hot in this series, make sure you get on over. You can find FRG, the Formula Racing Group, on Facebook, and you can follow the links to head to the FRG Discord server with all the information about how you can join all the various racing series, including this, the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries, plus all the other championships they're racing. It's a great format and a great way to go racing with iRacing, and it's fantastic to have such a huge mix of real-world drivers who have clearly taken out top honours to start things off, with Damon Woods running his exact replica livery on the car as well. Great to have this started, and we look forward to seeing everyone coming and joining us on Racestars TV June 27 for round 2 of the RaceKraft Australian Formula Ford eSeries.